we were having a contest on our Discord server, and this is the second contest we've been having. The the first contest was about hard surface. Like as a lot of people know, um, me and Cedric were really proficient at hard surface. We like to do it a lot. We've been doing it a lot. This is one of the stuff we're known for. So of course, the first contest was more like geared towards hard surface. But this new contest, the second one about the sinners, was a like I wanted to do like more of like the opposite of what we did at first. So doing something more organic. We actually had a poll on our Discord server, and the poll was about like what do you want to do for the next contest, right? Just making sure everybody's on board, that everybody's going to be happy with the theme, and basically, the theme was to do the next sinner. Let's say the sinner is a series of character that I did in the past, like a long time ago. Like we're talking about, like I don't know, like 10, 9 years ago or something, right? But
I
it's one that
remember
I
that time. That wasn't
yeah
too
I
long ago. Jesus.
well, I mean, this is when we actually were working together. I was just moved from your team. Just a little heads up. I met Laura because I actually worked with her. She actually even was my boss for a little while, and then I moved to another team within ADOS at the time, and the at that during that time, I on my free time I was doing a bit of like personal project. I've always been doing a bit of personal project, but this time was it's actually the centers that I was working on. So yeah, it's been a long time ago. um
Yeah, the just to interject on that
mhm.
briefly. That's actually while we were working at IDUS, we were working on Deus Ex back then, and I just could not understand how someone of your talent was able to both do incredible work on the project, of course, but also on the side be able to create like 7 extra characters, the sinners, and you made all these crazy renders, and they still look amazing to this day. So congratulations on the work that you've done there. But like even like back in the day,
Thank
that
you.
was like over like 10 years ago. I sort of remember seeing the sinners that you had done, and I just could not understand from which black hole you were pulling time out to be able to actually do this. And even to this day, I'm still actually wondering this. So, like every time I either watch you work or talk with you, it's kind of always in the back of my mind to try and decipher that particular mystery of the universe. I still haven't found the answer to that,
I
by the
will
way, but
never
maybe at some
tell.
point I will. Yes.
the
If I ever do, I will make a YouTube video on that because I think
Yeah, yeah,
everyone
yeah,
deserves
yeah.
to know.
The
Like
dark
you
witchcraft
lost the keys
secrets.
to productivity.
Yeah,
Yes.
to be honest, like it's a lot of just like spending every hours awake almost. Sometimes, like sometimes I just like get like um I just like a tick on something, and I just start working on it like every time. As much as sometimes I just like don't work on anything. It's pretty much like either I work all the time or I take a lot of like free time for myself, and a little bit in between. But yes, for some stuff in life, I live in the extremes, and this is one of them. Um, Xavier, like you said on the chat, yes, Cedric was also working. So this is a time when me, Cedric, and Laura were actually all working together, which is the reason why we know each other. And
The good old days.
yeah, exactly. So like when I was thinking about having a guest for the contest, I was like, well, Laura is a perfect guest because first of all, she's a sponsor on the guest, right? On the contest, and since we've did some interview, me and you, and since we're friends, I was like, well, let's just like join, like just do something together, and that would be cool. So like that's what we're about to start. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so talking about the sponsors, also something that was different about this year is this year we had sponsors. Last time we gave some prizes that were more like stuff that we had, like some of the statues and that sort of stuff. And but this year we wanted to actually have some more like professional prizes, if I could say. And the sponsors were Topogun, like they gave a few licenses. Maxon actually also gave some subscriptions. Rhythm UVs, which is a software that I use all the time for my UVs, also gave us a few licenses. Jay Hill,
Very
which I
soft.
actually did also an interview with him, um, gave us like a few codes for some of his classes and some tools. And Laura from Outgang gave us some of her tools that she did also, as well as the memberships for your classes as well. So I mean, a lot of generosity coming here, and I feel like this year we were able to give like a lot of prizes. Like that was like I was super happy that we were able to do that. So thanks for all the sponsors. Actually, that's really great. I'm really happy about that. Um, so so yeah, the contest was about the sinners. People had to do like one of the sinners. They had about how much? 2 months to do October. Yeah, you had like 2 months to do your characters, and basically the whole thing was happening on our Discord server. So for those who don't know, well, we have a Discord server. You can join it very easily. If you look at the bottom of the screen right now, there is a link that leads to some of our social medias and whatever. And one of the links will be to join Discord, our Discord server. So if you're not part of it, you can join. If you don't want to join, well, I mean, it's okay. We're still friends, I guess. It's fine. But the
Yeah.
all the fun's happening on the Discord server here. Um, so yeah, basically, this was all the stuff we were talking about. Well, the participation prizes, the information, this and that. People were able to post their work in progress during that time. So like every day, people were encouraged to just post like some of their whips and that sort of stuff. So there was like a lot of like exploration and that sort of stuff. Like you can see, it's really fascinating to look at like where things started for some people and where it landed, and that's really cool. That's really cool. Like
Yeah.
this one was one of the winners, and it's just nice to see all the work and everything, like some of the concept that existed before and whatnot. So and then we had the people that actually delivered their stuff. So if you join the server, you can see all of that, the progress, the works in progress, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
There was a lot of
Such
discussion as
great work in
well.
there.
Yeah. So the theme was to do the sinners, but in reality there was like a bit of leeway into like what you want to do. Like what I'm trying to say is that like no people were not encouraged to do the sinners the same way that I did them, right? Like you could actually just imagine them the way you wanted it to be. But one thing that's important to understand is that at the end of the day, it's all about like how the judges were feeling those things, right? Like at the beginning of the contest, like some people were asking like, okay, well, can we do the what are considered the sinners, but from our culture? And like the answer is simple. It's like, yeah, you can do whatever you want that feels like a sin, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of subjectivity when it comes to judging the things. So it's like, well, yes, let's just allow everything and let's just see how people feel about it. That's the most fair way to actually do that because it's art, right? It's not math. You can't have like specific rules, and it's not like a checkbox that we do like for the judging. It's really just like, how do you feel about this aspect, how do you feel about this aspect, and whatever. Then you tally the numbers and you get the positions. So there we go, the ranking, I should say, probably.
Yeah.
So talking about
Oh, by the way,
those,
Marco,
the what,
if I
sorry?
can just stop you for just a minute.
Yeah, go
For
ahead.
those who are actually watching live and who are on Twitch, I just want to say that I am also logged into Twitch right now, and my handle is Lipstick Squad. So if you ever see that in the chat, or if you ever want to talk to me while Marco is actually talking, I will reply to any messages that you guys write. So yeah, just wanted to let
Absolutely.
all all of you know that. So yeah.
That's perfect. That's a great thing. Great thing. Okay. So just to go through just quickly, I want to go through the winners of that contest. So I said at the beginning there was going to be 10 nominees, and I could not do without 11. I just felt like the perfect number was 11. Even like the 12th position, I was like, it's like it was so hard to not like put it in there, but I just couldn't like go too far away from like the promise or like the parameters that I put at first. But I really felt like an 11th place was needed. I think the last contest I said 10 nominees. I ended with like 12 anyway. So it's like I guess this like there's a bit of like bullshit on my part all the time about the amount of nominees. But you know what? That's your fault because you're doing great work. So whatever.
I sort
So
of like it too. Like it sort of shows like it's kind of stupid, okay, but like when someone decides on something like that, it's like I will do 11 winners and not 10 because like everyone does 10. It actually kind
yeah.
of speaks very nicely to someone's creativity, actually, you know? It's like I will like even in like like deciding the number of either winners or number of things that I have for something, I will go like against the flow. I will be
17. Just
original
prime
there. So
numbers.
I just thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Actually, there was a guy a long time ago. I was listening to his podcast. I think it's called that guy with the glasses, and he was no nostalgia critic. There you go, and he was reviewing like movies and stuff. And every time he had a top something, it was always like a top 11. So this time when I landed on top 11, I was like a little wink
Yeah,
to that guy
yeah.
almost. So yeah, so these were the 11th and 10th place. I can try with the names, but you're gonna have to let me make a few mistakes right there. Julian Lax Castano. I'm just gonna say it like in English, not even try to change them, because it could be like Julian Lax Castaño. Actually, yeah, there was a little thing on the end. So, anyways, whatever. For 11th place, Nguyen Quang Yu in the 10th place. Uh, Thomas de Legal, I suppose that I have to say this one in French, on the ninth place. Vladimir
Obligatory.
Svakin in eighth place. Roberto Cogoni. Cogoni, yeah. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm really sorry about the butchering of the names. Andrei Podgornov in sixth place. Gustavo Graziano. Yeah, boy, crap. My Italian friend is going to kill me if she actually listens to that. Maria Anikina. Name wasn't butchered too bad. Oh, thank you.
That's
Sorry
very
about
kind.
that. And now we're going into like the third place. Louis-Philippe Bélanger. Huh? Third place. Wow, look at how I wrote third place. I'm going to actually do my own like social
Third,
suicide.
third.
Third place. There we go. Perfect. Good job, Marco. Kazi Gilev in second place. And Marco Lombardi on first place. I'm really sorry. Really
Congratulations
sorry,
to
everyone.
all the winners.
Yeah, congrats to all the winners. Seriously, that's fantastic. Little thing that like pops into my head right now for sure. Marco Lombardi was part of the previous contest. Well, as many people were part of the previous contest, and last contest, if I am not mistaken, Marco made it second place. So this time, I feel like it's kind of like the revenge, like contest number 2, the revenge for Marco, and he finally gets the first place. So congratulations to you. Seriously, that's really cool.
I can
So
sense some preferential treatment here based on the name.
no, no, there is
No, no,
nothing
no,
like that.
no.
There's
Okay.
no nepotism, no
No.
nothing like that.
I'm
You did
joking. This
not
work
pay
is
me.
fantastic. Yeah, yeah. It's absolutely fantastic.
I'm really sorry. The cough is actually worse than I thought. I hope this is not too much of a bother for people. Can you actually hear me cough when
In
I
a very
actually do
muffled
this?
way, so you are doing the very experienced streamer thing of actually pulling yourself back from the microphone if you're about to cough. So that's pretty good. Keep that up.
Perfect.
No, I
Awesome.
think that's
Awesome.
fine.
So yeah, so those were the winners. So congratulations to everyone. And there is also a few special mentions that I wanted to do because when I was going over like all the contestants and I was witnessing like the possible nominees for everything, I personally saw a lot of things that made me actually made me vibrate, that I really really resonated with. And although maybe they didn't have like all of the requirements to make it to the nominees, I find that there are some people that did some pretty cool stuff that I wanted to go and to show. I mean, I would show everybody's work if we had the time on the stream, but unfortunately, I have to prioritize a few things. So for anybody that wants to see the contestant, like I said, go on the Discord server. You can see everybody's work. You can see their work in progress. And but yeah, let's dive in the nominees for the contest. Not the nominees, sorry, the honorable mentions.
I do want to highlight how amazing some of the designs were that we have seen. You know, like one thing that's going to become very clear as we go through these particular participants here is that, first of all, like a lot of people have created absolutely awesome work from an execution standpoint. It's just fantastic to um, just to, like look at, right? But also design-wise, like I've been extremely impressed by the breadth of different designs that we have seen and how different people have interpreted the just like the base idea too of the sinners and starting from the seven sinners there. Like I'm really really impressed by how much thought has gone into a lot of the designs that we are going to see there. So I just wanted to um, um, just to say that, you know, like it's not always about execution, you know, like sometimes it's also about just having a really really good
Yep.
idea and really converting the particular premise in a way that is very original, you know, like personally speaking, that is something that I am always amazed by.
Absolutely, and I think that's the reason why I really insisted on having a few honorable mention this time. It's because there was a lot of like design aspects that were great from some of the statues that didn't make the nominees, so I just wanted to highlight them exactly. So, yep, exactly. Um, so yeah, let's jump into it. So a few honorable mentions, like I said, there's some characters that I actually thought like were pretty cool. Like I really like the shape of this character here. I've it's just like really like it's really cool when you go outside of like the typical proportions and you give yourself like this contest like was able to give yourself the freedom to do that kind of stuff. So for me, like the general shapes of this character and the posture and that sort of stuff was something that I actually noticed and I thought was pretty cool.
It's
So
really
this
cool.
was from
It's
Marcos Emilio Cuesta Caras.
it is also, oh, is that another Marco right there? Because like I was gonna
Yeah,
say this, like that particular character, that particular pose, the way that like this is gonna sound weird, okay, but like you yourself, Marco, have a very special way to treat butts and asses, and like you sort of always give like a really really profound arc to the front of the character, and that really sort of makes their butt kind of stick out in a way that's very very interesting. So like when I look at the back of a character, and especially the back of the character that we have just seen here, like it just screams first dynamism. That's sort of what really comes to my mind, and sort of like
yeah.
um um expressivity, but that's something also that you do a lot. So I think that this person is probably a big fan of your work.
You know what? Fundamentally, maybe I like this character because of the butt. So I mean, it could be. It could very well be. All right. So another honorable mention. So this character I thought actually was pretty well done.
Oh yeah.
From Isidro Mura Pinto Jr. So that was a pretty cool one as well. Couple of like videos. I like that people like brought like videos and stuff. There were you see like there's a few things that were done with a lot of care and everything. So that's pretty cool. Putting a lot of attention on the hands. It's always something interesting. So cool idea of
Yeah,
design
it's
as
so
well.
good.
So yeah, that was pretty cool. Um, this one here I thought was really interesting in terms of like the storytelling of what's happening. The soldier with like pretty much like a parasite and being controlled and everything. Like it tells a lot. You see, like it's that's what was cool from one of the some of the entries was basically like the story behind those things and everything that's happening. I mean, there's a to be perfectly frank, there is like it sometimes it can get confusing because so many stuff is happening and you don't really know where to look. So that might be like a comment I could say is like just be careful with that. But when you do look around and like find those things, there's some really interesting thing that was happening. So yeah, good
Yeah, for
job.
sure. And like the face too, like the mask sort of reminds me of the Lich King with like the
Yeah,
like
exactly.
smoke sort of coming out of the
Ab-
side of the eyes there. That was really cool.
Absolutely. This was from Jason Punsenlang. So once again, sorry for butchering any names. Um, there was this one. Okay, so this one. Wait, I'll just get the. There was like a shot that was. There we go. Okay. So this one, I'll be fully honest. Okay, this is from Horia Dreve. This one was one of the design that I loved the most. Like, it's simple, but man, does it tell a lot. It's I really loved it. Like the fact that it's got like two bodies coming from the same like Sagittarius no sorry Centaur sorry from the same Centaur body and stuff, and they're like both of them are like fighting each other, but like they're part of the same body. So like what's gonna happen when like one of them dies and stuff? It's just like it's just really great.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so congratulations. This one actually it really resonated with me, and I wanted to make an honorable mention of this one for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Oh.
this for me strikes me as someone who might have run out of time a little bit, like on the rendering wise. You see that like so much more could be done on the rendering to really make everything pop. Because like the idea is great, even like the sculpting, I really like it and stuff. You know, it's like there's so many great um ideas here. It's really cool. The thing that I kind of always wonder when I look at this one is like, okay, so who controls the leg? Like the legs, how is that like split in terms of like control? Like my mind sort of goes there for like some reason. I'm like, but
Yeah,
yeah, no, it's like idea wise, this is just fantastic. Yeah.
yeah. I think on the front, the left one controls the left leg, but it controls the back right leg. So it's like a diagonal, like X shape or something. That's how I think about it for no freaking
Yeah.
reason. Let's jump to the next one. So Sebastien Dubiel or Sebastian Dubiel. I'm not sure how I should pronounce it. This one was pretty cool too. The execution was pretty well done in terms of like the sculpting and everything, and there was like a few good ideas in there, the crossing of the arms, that sort of stuff. Um, Here we've got a little video here. So yeah, all in all, it was pretty interesting in terms of like everything that's happening and that sort of stuff. So good job, also.
There's like such a great mood to it too, you know, with like the blue rim light, like the key light that's sort of coming from like the bottom, and you got like the blue sort of rim light coming from the top. Like just the atmosphere of it is just fantastic.
Yep, absolutely. Good point. This one was also pretty cool. This one is by Quentin Moulineff, which I know a little bit. This person already. The I really thought that was really a great show of anatomy knowledge and anatomy study and that sort of stuff. So, of course, maybe less storytelling than the other, less like investment in the contest for sure didn't make the nominees. But I mean, in terms of like the quality of the sculpt and that sort of stuff, I mean, you do have to acknowledge that there is like a lot of work that's been put into that. So good job to you, Conte. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Look at the arc that the I think that's the right. I sort of always get left and right confused, but the character's right leg, like look at the arc that's there, and that is sort of like that
Yep.
sort of flows all the way into the torso there. That's just really fantastic.
Yep, exactly. It's very cool. Um, Sorry. Also, I mean, there were some more like graphic
Oh yeah,
images that I just wanna point at now. It's
yeah.
just like the sculpt was really helping to see like everything, but like no, there was also like a nice presentation to it.
It's
Um,
beautiful.
yeah. All right. Next one. So this was really cool. Also, I thought it was pretty nice. It made me think of like a bit of like my own interpretation of the sinners when I did gluttony. But I mean, it's not the reason why I didn't make the nominees, right? I mean, I actually highly considered it. I mean, the rendition was like pretty cool. It's pretty freaky. It's disgusting. It's all the good stuff, all the great stuff, and yeah,
There's,
it's nice.
there's a nice story to it too, you know. It's like you can kind of see the character, like you know, like you were sort of talking about the centaur sort of fighting itself, but like I sort of also get this kind of feeling here for the character of like this particular character who's got this rope that is going all the way around their body and is kind of like closing off the mouth that they have like over their chest, but they're also trying to pull it open, you know, like which for me calls a lot to what happens when I think of cake, and I'm like, cake, I need cake, and I'm like, no,
No, you
sugar's
have to put
bad,
a
but
rope on
cake
your
is good.
mouth.
Yeah, you know, it's like I start fighting myself, and my stomach is like, give me some cake right now, and like this is like the personification of hunger. I feel like, and that sort of internal conflict that we get sometimes. Like, I
Yeah,
think it's really
also
cool.
plus I mean like your interpretation, you can that's the fun thing about art is that you can interpret things the way that you want. Like the way that I see like the ropes, it's like the ropes are signaling that like this guy is actually going to die from what he's doing, and also it's trying to stop him at the same time. And also something else, if the way I see it, he's like blind, so he's not even like looking at what he's eating. So see, there's kind of like a lot of like cool things that comes in. So yeah, good
Yeah,
job, good job. That was Jules Lartizian. Jules Lartizian. All right. Oops, wait. I'll open it in this one. There we go. So this one also, the rendition of the character was pretty good, pretty cool. If you look at more of like the close-ups, you can see that there was like a lot of like time spent into making sure everything looks well polished and detailed and everything. So there was like a lot of love given to this character. So seriously, yeah, like I said, I mean, it's it comes to like subjectivity at the end. This character is like a very high level of quality. This cannot be taken away from, like, even if like that character didn't make the nominees, the level of quality of this character cannot be taken away. That's what I'm trying to say. So seriously, a good job with that. Also, the rendition is like very nice. I really love like the
it's
colors of the
super nice.
background and that sort of stuff. No, yeah, that was really
Yeah,
cool.
you got some smoke in there, a little bit of fog. It's like this is complete, you know. It's like it has
Yeah,
everything that it needs.
yeah,
And
exactly.
also the pose, you know, like the pose is so important, and like the pose is so dynamic and very asymmetric, you know. Like
Hmm.
there are a few entries that we have seen where the pose is very symmetrical, which for me is always you know, does convey something perhaps about the character and the motivations of the character, but also like when a pose is very asymmetric, you know, the character is really looking off to like the side, they're doing something different with their hands, you know, like it always for me makes the particular character so much more interesting to look at and to think through, you know, like and I just think that it's kind of funny sometimes like how just like a pose can really make a character go from looking somewhat normal, you know, like if you take any character that we do and we're sort of always working in like a T pose or a pose or like something, like just giving it a different dynamic pose, how it just makes everything come together in a way that is really crazy. So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. But
wanted to
also, there's
point that out.
a it's a double-edged sword, because if you actually take a character and you do a pose that just doesn't look good, it can also kill the character. Like the
Definitely.
A pose or T pose is not interesting, but it's at least stable. And if you pose like a character and it's just not feeling right, sometimes it can actually like go into negative. So just to be careful when you venture into posing, just assume that it's its own form of art and has to be studied and actually also like well done. You can't just like pose a character willy nilly and whatever, right? So I just want
Yeah,
to add
yeah, yeah,
something
yeah.
also. I would like I see like comments that are like about commenting the work that you see. I would just be careful with commenting people's work right now, because like we basically, by doing the contest, we're giving permission to talk about this, but maybe like people that are that is their art that they see on the screen are not willing to are not open for critics and comments. So I would just be careful about writing your comments about the art on the chat. Okay, just to be kind, and it's a moment to celebrate. Let's say, not a moment to criticize in majority. So this was by Leandro Procopio. All right. There we go. This one was actually an entry that came with like a few characters. So so you see, like, there was like a few things like happening here. This character as well, right? So yeah, like it couldn't do like the nominees, but it was fun to see so many like entries at the same time. Like I bet that person like had a lot of fun doing those things. So it's really cool to see. Also, like I feel like presentations like that, when you see like a few characters and different scales, is very very Cedric like. Like this like really strikes me at like the kind of stuff that Cedric does in terms of presentation. So yeah, all in all, pretty nice. That was a really really nice one too. All
Some
right,
people got
next.
too much time on their hands.
Mm-hmm.
No.
But using it well as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that was Jesus Velasco Mammon. There we go. All right. So the next one is by, wait, I'll just say the name first. Dylan Andrews. All right. So this one was pretty complex. There is something that I actually really liked about the entire chaos of this design. On one
Yeah.
hand, yeah, you can always say like, okay, be careful because like readability is important. It might be hard to read some characters, but you see, like, when you see it in movement and you can really read everything about the character, it's really interesting. I find how like chaotic that creature was. So yeah, I mean, that was
Yeah.
interesting. I find.
It's like the
Also,
face has
it's
been completely deconstructed, you know. It's like
yeah,
I
very
like the idea,
gross.
like, yeah, this was Raph, right? Like the idea here was Raph, right? I just like the idea of like a character being so, or like a creature being so filled with wrath that their face is literally starting to come apart from like screaming too much. Like there's something there that is extremely um, disconcerting, if that's the proper word to use. But it's very evocative. Certainly, it's very evocative.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, Great. All right. On to the next. We're almost like half done with the honorable mentions. This one I also thought that it was pretty cool in terms of like the amount of like stuff that was happening on the character. Almost like if you look at like at a certain section, there's like a certain bit of story, and then another section, another bit of story. So I thought it was very interesting. Could be maybe too much. That could be something that could be said, but depending on how you present it, it can be interesting to know that like you can look at like many places and have many things that you can notice and stuff. Like the arms are of a certain way to tell a certain story. The head a certain way. The Billy a certain way. So a lot of like different themes happening. But the Sinners is probably one of the best contests to do some chaotic stuff also.
Yeah. And there's a nice material
Um,
definition to it too, you know. It's like you got like the nice juicy bits like on the ground at the bottom. You can really feel like the juiciness of it. You can really feel like the difference in materials between the metal, the cloth part, like the skin part. It's like there's a nice separation there between the different materials.
yeah, absolutely. This was Matteo Hector Gasparino. On to the next one. So the next one is, I'll mention the name first this time, Skandar Maluki. And so Big Demon Dude was pretty cool. The rendition of it is pretty nice. I love the just plain red background. That was really cool also. So good job with that. The Like just to give you an example, like personally, all right. For me, things were starting to get a little bit too like demon-esque. Like for me, they were starting to fall slowly like outside of like what for me like the sinners like feel like, right? But it's true that like I said at the beginning of the content of the stream, it's really subjective at the end, right? And you cannot avoid subjectivity for sure. But for me, like when it was starting to get a little bit too demon-esque, for me, it started to get a little bit outside. But that being said, does not remove that the character is fantastic as it is. This character can be put on ArtStation in a ArtStation piece. Doesn't even need to be part of a contest or whatever, and it can be its own thing, and it's well done. So good job.
Yeah. Fantastic sculpting, by the way. Like sculpting
Mm-hmm.
wise is just amazing.
Yep, very good. All right. Next one. Next one. Next one. So next one, Matthew Vigiland. This one is extremely explicit. It's it's pretty
Yeah.
intense. I don't think I'm gonna ponder on it too much or change too much of the images because I just don't know what are the policies on Twitch. But there was some like just to say that like there was some entries like that that were pretty funky, and for me, I thought it was pretty interesting. So good job on you, Matthew. I'm actually gonna close the image now though.
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah, yeah.
just to be
You did give people
careful.
a fair warning in the contest description or rules. You're like, hey, like if your work is a little too explicit, and there certainly was a few entries like that. It's like it might not actually get shown on stream because of we don't know like who's watching this with their
Yeah, I
children
mean
and
the
stuff.
theme
So
is pushing
yeah,
the limits by itself, so I want to make sure that like we're not pushing the limits of how we can um, present this thing also. Next one by wait, I'm gonna by Adrian Kapersky. This one's also a pretty good one. I think something that's pretty good about this one is also like the materials, the choice of colors, and the readability. For something that's extremely chaotic, I find that it's very readable. So it's pretty good on this on that aspect. I find lots of disgusting skin. We like that. It's pretty nice. Very gross. Very. I also like that there's kind of like a you can see like where like it was walking or crawling behind. That's a good attention to stuff.
yeah,
So all in all, really good stuff. I mean, it goes without saying, it like barely made it to the nominees. Like it was like pretty much there. So really good job on this one.
I think you mean that it almost won, right? Not that it barely made it within the nominees, as in or the
Well,
sorry
it's
the
not in the
nominees.
nominees. This
Yeah, yeah,
one,
yeah, yeah. But it almost
but
could have been in there.
yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So Adrian Kapersky. Um, let's go to the next one. Um, so the
Oh,
next
just to
one,
mention something.
yep.
Um, I see a comment in Twitch from Ori who says, did you do transparency or is it painted?" Well, I don't know what's the answer to the question, but I think that the question is very interesting because I've been wondering that myself as well, just sort of looking at it. Like you get all of those like things within like the belly that you can kind of see through the skin. I'm pretty sure it's rendered. So like yeah, I'm pretty sure that the artist just had like a very thin sort of like skin layer there that was sort of yeah. So I think it's rendering wise. I don't think that's painted, but it is something that's very well made about this particular piece here. Just the effect of the belly and having all of the sort of snakes in there. Like there's something there that's very well made. That's very well
Hmm.
controlled.
Yeah. Also, it's an important piece of the model, so it's a good idea that like a lot of time was put into making that part looking good. Um. All right. So this one from Prasant Kumar Sahu. So this is another one where like I find that like story wise, there was like a lot of things. It was pretty interesting to actually like make your own interpretation of that. Basically, it's envy. By the way, that was the theme for this one, and yeah, no, I just thought there was a lot of like symbolism, that sort of stuff. It was good. It was good. I
Yeah.
like the symbolism, the all those things. So good job.
it's like composition wise, this is extremely strong, especially
Yeah,
when you look at it from front, which is probably the view that's meant to be looked at from, like this one here. Like just
yeah,
composition wise, this is. I actually believe that composition wise, this is one of the strongest entries that there was within the contest.
yeah. Good. All right. Good job. Good job. Yep, I agree. Very good. So another one. This one was also very interesting in terms of its story and everything. Um, this is from oh wait, the name is pretty long. Let me just get it right. Edward Leonardo Leal Kaised Dorado. Jeez, that your passport must be thick as a Bible. Um, so yeah, the this entry very good as well in terms of let's try to get like the so yeah,
Oh,
just like
it's
all
so
the
nice.
attention to
It's so
detail.
nice. It's so good. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very nice. When
Yeah.
you see like the sculpt, you can really see where like all the love was put, and so it's really cool. It's there's really something like off-putting about like the character itself, and yep, just the attention of all the props on the character as well. That's very cool.
Yeah.
So good job with that.
One thing I just want to mention about this particular piece, if you can go back to the rendered images of it.
Close up or from afar?
It doesn't matter. You can just go through these. Like, I'm very conflicted about this because, like, I just think, first of all, like, material wise, there's something here that is so nice, especially when it comes to the gold, the way that the gold has been rendered. It is so tactile. You can sort of feel it, you can sense it. Like, it's so well done. But the thing that I'm kind of conflicted about is that I don't think that there's any shadows rendered in this particular scene. And
Hmm.
I'm kind of conflicted because from one, it sort of makes all the like the blues and the gold work really well together. So I sort of understand why. But at the same time, I also kind of wish that there were a little bit like a few shadows to sort of add a little bit of depth to it. Um, but yeah, just in terms of materials, like this is just so good. Like the gold is so well made. It is
Hmm.
so believable. It is just yeah. It's when I saw this, I was blown away
Yeah,
by that.
absolutely. Did I mention who that was? Yes, yes. Good. So on to the next one. So this one I thought was really really cool. There is like a like I mean I would put money on the fact that the classical piece of like Saturn eating his son was like an inspiration for this one. Maybe it's not right, but maybe it exists inside of this artist, and that's just like what came out, right? Like I don't want to remove anything from this art piece, right? But it did like made me like reflect on this, and I really just like the insanity of the
Yeah,
faces
yeah,
like
yeah,
here.
yeah,
It's just like
yeah,
it's not cool. It's not cool in the best way possible. What's happening with the faces here, and I just feel that it actually gives it like a lot of there's a lot of feel to it because of that, and also like what's happening with the body here and all that stuff. It's just like yeah, it's just really cool by
yeah, yeah,
itself.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So great piece. Also, I resonated a lot with this one as well. This one is from Mans Ultkrantz. By the way, I'm dyslexic, so anybody that has a complicated name, I feel that you're kind of like mean with me.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Okay, next one, Patrick Garcia. So this one also, by the way, like just made it to the like could was just about to make it to the nominees. Like it was such a hard choice and stuff. So I just want to sing my praises to this one. Um, and let you know like that I find that this is really like fantastic work. Also comes with a
Yeah.
swappable head, like I do often to my characters, because I often think of my characters like if they are printed and stuff. So I'll make like swappable heads and everything, and it does actually like show the like it gives it like a lot more, right? Because of this this addition. So cool character, cool pose. Cool anatomy. It's a particular choice to go for like exoskeleton and stuff, but it works well with the character. Textures were also interesting, like the richness of the texture in terms of like the grain and stuff was really nice, and yeah, it was very cool. Like it gives me a bit of like an Oriental feel to the character. The way that like the choice of like
All the
line
curves.
movement, line art, yeah, exactly like those kind of stuff. So yeah, that was really cool. I think a lot of people liked this one also when I was looking at the Discord server and all that stuff. So yeah,
Yeah, no, like this is like absolutely fantastic. Like first of all, like the proportions remind me a lot of Bayonetta, by the way.
yeah,
But
that's true. Eh?
the like the face for me makes it so interesting. Like the yeah, like in fact, when I saw it the first time, I was like, I'm not really sure about this face. I feel like the face is kind of clashing with the body, you know, like I'm not really sure about
But
that. And then like boom, you
surprise!
switch to image and it just opens up and you're like, congratulations. Like you have blown me away. Like this is so good, you know, and like you can really sort of tell a story through that too, you know, like this particular character has this really pretty face to sort of attract prey, you know, and then when those preys are entranced by her looks, of course,
Shit
assuming
happens.
that the prey is watching this particular monster on a Twitch stream like us, so that you pretty much only see the face. But you know, then like the face sort of opens up at that
Oh
moment,
my
and like
god!
this is like the stuff of horrors.
Yeah,
So no, this is really, really, really good.
yeah. Happy nightmare, everyone. So yep, a good job on this one, absolutely for sure. Okay, we have two more honorable mention. Well, Laura, you also have some of your honorable mention to come. This one was pretty cool as well. I found um, just in terms of like there's like a simplicity in it, but I find that like there's like meaning in the simplicity also, and I thought that this was pretty cool. So I wanted to mention it for the honorable mention. There is a
Hmm.
video that doesn't seem to be loading about this one. Yeah, for some reason my computer's not loading it, but pretty good work. This was Jalen Peacock, Vainglory. Or wait, no, I think Peacock is the name of the thing. Janet Vainglory? No, just Jalen. Anyways, Jalen. Let's call that person Jalen. And the next one here, boom, this one. It's just like I just like had a cool feel coming from it. For me, it feels more like high fantasy, medieval demon stuff and whatever. But I just thought that like the character itself had kind of like a cool vibe, like a meanness to it, and like I totally see it as a like a like a bad character, like a bad guy in a video game, basically. So I liked it.
Yeah. I don't know why, but this reminds me of oh, I'm trying to remember. Like, there's a metal band. Like, you, Marco, would definitely know this. Like, there's a metal band who, at some point, made a character like this that was sort of their avatar, their mascot that has vibes of this, which I'm struggling to remember who it was now.
I'm
It's
not sure. I mean,
not
a lot
Kid
of like metal
Rush.
bands have like mascots and stuff. Like it became kind of like a gimmick, starting with like Eddie from Iron Maiden. That was like,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I don't know why. I'm just getting like very, very subtle vibes of that. Like for some reason,
yeah.
there's like something about the face and the eyes. Yeah.
Well, you
Um,
know what, Lara? I'm going to have to disagree on this one, but
oh,
I still
oh
like you.
no.
It's just because I know
Okay.
Eddie so much. Like you're
I'm gonna
talking to
leave
like
now.
a Eddie expert right here. So
Yeah.
like now I'm starting to be like, oh, no, that's not how it is. Anyways,
I have been
um,
unmasked. I don't know what I'm talking about or what I'm doing here.
yeah,
Yes.
get off the stream. Get off the stream. Of course. We have another one coming here. So, Alora, I think this is one that like you pointed at that you thought was a valuable honorable mention.
Yeah. So I wanted to point out four extra honorable that had more things that I wanted to uh, point out because I thought that they were done extremely well. And since we're here to celebrate the work that everyone has done, I just wanted to make sure that everyone gets as much spotlight as possible here. But this particular work here from let me just bring up the names here from
Yeah.
Mustafa. I I thought it was when I saw it the first time, Marco. I thought this was your work. I'm like because this looks exactly like your sinners, and like in the description of the contest, you were like, oh, like redo one of the sinners the way that you had done that. And I think that Mustafa here took that and just went all the way to the bank with that because it is like just in terms of like rendering style, in terms of like the way that there's this very, very, very strong sort of I'm forgetting the name here, but the fact that the um, image kind of like becomes black around the
The gradient,
edges. Yeah, I guess a
the
gradient,
fading
like
vignette, the
yes.
mood.
Thank you. So a vignette. So like between the vignette, between like all of the sort of effects that are added on, the sort of like dust, the all of that, like just in terms of rendering, this is like 100% one of your renders. So like um the reason why I
That's true.
wanted
I
to
see what you
really
mean.
yeah, like, and the reason why I wanted to bring this up was because I think that Mustafa, I think that you have this very particular ability to look at the work that someone else has done and to really break it down exactly, like to really sort of just sort of just break down the work that someone else has done or guidelines that has been given and do something that is exactly that. And that's a particular skill. Of course, like it's great that everyone has done work that is very much their own, and that's good. And I think that this work too has certainly something that makes it uh, stand by itself there. But I also just wanted to point out that there's also like having that particular ability to really understand very well look at a particular render, look at a image, look at guidelines, and be able to sort of break that down and really understand them very well and be able to recreate them afterward. I think that is also a skill that is highly valued. I think.
Yeah,
So
especially
yeah,
in the
I just
industry.
wanted to point that out. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So yeah,
So
I thought
this,
that was
yes,
really cool.
this. I just want to get the full name though. Is Mustafa Berkey? Oh boy, Gurel Tlol. I'm sorry. But yeah, so good job. And also, I forgot to mention the name of the previous honorable mention. Also, this one was from Alexei Kozayev. So yeah, just making sure everybody gets their credits. Um, we're almost done with the honorable mention. We also had this one
3
is
more
in
to
a
go, and then we're done.
oh, yes, exactly. This one is in a few folders. So we have this one here.
Yeah. So this is the work of Jessica here.
Yes,
Jessica
just like
Jean Zulin. Hope
yeah.
I'm getting that right too. Yeah, I just wanted to point out that
I
like
think it's pronounced in French. I think it's Jessica Jean Soulin. It looks
maybe
French.
it could be
Or Jean
French. Yeah.
Soulin. I don't know. Maybe. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think it is extremely hard to add so much colors to a character that is supposed to be horrible and still make it work. And I just wanted to point that out. Like I think first of all that it's very brave to try to go down that path, but the fact that it has also um, given us a result that is so tasteful in terms of where the colors are, I think is that too is a very difficult skill to have. I think so. I just wanted to point that out here. I just love how colorful this whole piece is. It really goes sort of against the work that a lot of other people have done. So it's sort of like it does make it stand out on its own. So I think that that's really, really cool. And also, there's a particular insanity to the design that I think is also extremely interesting. Especially the face. I love that the eyes are like cones that are sort of sticking out, and like everything feels like it's sort of very hand painted. So I think that there's a lot to really like about this particular piece.
Yep, I agree. The theme was pride for this one. So having exactly like all like these like this colors and like this like flamboyousness, like at least the flamboyousness compared to the more like monochromatic things that we see in the other centers actually fits well for like the pride, this kind of like punctuous like royalty almost flashy thing, I'd say.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
cool. Um, so yeah, so next one by oh, the name is not complete. We have ARJ Calobas.
Yeah. I think this piece is really interesting from a rendering standpoint. I think that there's a lot there that is interesting, but like rendering wise, like like this is like just really strong in terms of rendering, like in terms of lighting, in terms of like there's a really nice rim light going on there. I'm not sure which rendering technique or which engine was used, but it like there's something extremely well realized about the rendering of this particular piece, and I just wanted to point that out. This is just fantastic, and it just makes me want to look at the details, you know? Like, one could say that perhaps the design-wise, there might be a little bit too much going on, but also because the rendering is so well done, it just makes me want to look at it more. And sort of like as I look around, I'm not really sure what I'm going to expect in terms of details left and right, and it just makes me want to stare at it more, in a way. So yeah, just like I just thought that this piece was really striking.
Also, the I feel like this character could absolutely be like a boss in Doom or something like that. Like it has
Yeah,
this
yeah,
vibe so much. It's pretty cool.
yeah.
So yeah,
Good work,
and
guys.
one last honorable mention from
Yeah, this one.
Pranab Sen.
Yeah. I like this one because this one is gluttony. That's the sin that has been chosen. And I think there too, you know, like I think I've mentioned this a few times since the beginning of the stream there, but um, you know, this is like someone who's like, okay, I will do gluttony and I will do a starving, thin character, which goes completely against my own expectation when it comes to that particular sin. And there too, I think that there's something extremely interesting about someone who's able to think outside the box like that. So I think that's really cool. I just wanted to point that out. You know, like I think that we default when we think of gluttony, we sort of default to someone who's very, you know, big, sort of burly. But here we have gone completely against that. You know, and I just thought that that was a very brave but very interesting decision that really spoke very highly of the um, artist's skills and ability to think. So yeah,
Yeah, and this is something I actually find really interesting because it's a bit of a risk to do things differently from like how people would like envision it, I'd say. And when it's done well, I think that there is like something very valuable in that. But that's the nature of taking a risk, right? It's like you can sometimes it can work well, sometimes it can't. So whatever, it is what it is. But so that's cool. Good job for on this, and it actually makes me reflect on. So when I did my sinners, when I did gluttony, for me, I actually kind of like went into like the same idea of going against the grain a little bit because the character of gluttony is pretty much like is slim in his frame, right? But for me, the what I was trying to convey was basically that like this character was a bit like kind of like a Venus flytrap, like a piranha plant, like if you want, right? That gets the creature like inside of like its belly, and oops, sorry,
yeah.
and it can actually like absorb him, like you see like on this one here, and it basically it just like it keeps the victim inside of its body, and it just digests it like really slowly. So it's kind of like a torture, like a gastric torture, if you want, right? So this character is just feeding all the time, not necessarily in quantity, but in well, not quantity of like mass, but in quantity of time, basically. And this is where actually I went. So yeah, I always like the different interpretation of things. So good job for that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are done with the we're done with the honorable mentions for now. So we're going to look at the actual winners. of this contest. So actually, you know what? I'm kind of like happy. I did not know that I was going to have this much to say about the contest. Not about a contest, but about the honorable mention and everything. So I hope people are happy that we're making some place for that, because seeing the contest and every different interpretation just made me want to talk about my feelings about it. So yeah, there you have it. A bit of an improvisation, a bit of unexpected discussions. But here we are. We're now going to check the winners of the contest. So let's start with the 11th place. So this is by Julen Lax Castagno. Or I bet it's like Julen Lax Castagno. But yeah. So sorry, this one, 11th place. I love the composition. It's like, also I really like how it looks like a painting. Like I don't know if there was like post processing done on this like particular like image, like probably maybe with the fog and everything. But there's something really painterly about it, and I really this really captured my attention. Uh, Also, I find that there's something very mesmerizing about what's like happening in the image. It's really cool with the light. Also, really cool choice of lighting with the green and the pink and all that stuff. Let's change the images a little bit. Wait, yeah, a lot of cool stuff here. Nice movement in the drapery. That bunch of stuff. It's nice how like the light was cutting half of the face. Also, I find it's like a nice cinematic thing, and and yeah, cool little details. I love the little legs here, little spine that's finishing right before the butt cheeks, and yeah, really just like something really something cool to the feel and everything. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I like
Yeah,
also
yeah,
like
yeah.
at least the way I perceive it, I find there's like a gender, like a mixed gender thing happening to the character as well, and I thought that was really cool also.
Because of how long the legs are. Is that part of it?
Like a few things I find, if you look at like just like a few places on the character, I find some of them are like more masculine, some more feminine, all happening at the same time. So I thought that was actually really interesting. And the maybe that was not the intention. I'm just talking about like how it feels for sure, right? Turntable, but you can say actually in the turntable that there's like a few of the environment that's actually like the mesh itself. So yeah, just a great, also like the pose. Like
The
the
pose
pose
is
is
amazing.
very extreme, right? Like the it's very straight. Like the lines are very straight, very extreme. Everything is like tense, and I thought that actually it conveyed a lot of emotion as well. So yep,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just, I really like this one.
Yeah, yeah. It's like the pose is extreme, but it works, and like the arc running through the body is very interesting. And also, I like how there's like sub arcs in there. If you look at the feet, like the feet are actually sort of arcing forward, like the spine, the legs, they're all sort of arcing backwards. Like there's some very interesting sort of, um, well, just curves that are sort of going on and sort of running through the body that I think is very interesting. And it's really interesting to have those curves running through the body and then have the arms that are completely straight. Like it creates that really nice, like it just makes it very interesting visually speaking to have that sort of contrast there. You have a lot of curves, but then the arms are very straight. I think for me that works really well, and especially like as we sort of look at the face of the character, the way that you had the shot that was sort of looking at the eyes there. It's like you can also kind of really feel the I'm not sure if intent is the right word here, but the concentration of the character. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
something here that they're
A
doing like
focus.
this. Yeah, like somehow this reminds me a lot of yoga. So perhaps that our artist here has done yoga a little bit and sort of understands a little bit the mindset that you sometimes put yourself in when you do that. But this just reminds me of that here a little bit. So yeah, there's a lot here to like about the character. Yeah.
Yeah, I would rather that like the artist knows yoga rather than knowing demon stuff like what's happening in the picture right there. It would reassure me that the inspiration comes from yoga.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Bless you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So, very good. Seriously, I was personally also I really loved it for those reasons. So, good job on that. Next one. So, 10th place. This was Nguyen Quang Yu. And for me, this one, I also really liked it. I'm probably gonna say that for about like every winners of the contest for sure, but I truly feel it. This one I really loved, and I think that there is, although maybe a bit of like difficulty on the readability on the character. I mean, there was like so much to hate in a good way in this character, like the eye mouth and just like everything, the kind of like, if you look at it, like this head is got
Yeah,
coming
yeah,
out of
yeah.
what would be like the mouth of the character. So it's just like it's really cool how there is like many like major things happening at the same time that kind of like blend with each other as well, right?
Yeah,
um
yep, yep, yep.
so for me this one was just really also like just the face on this character, like
Oh, the
the
face
the
is great.
yeah, the expression of the face is really like, what do you want with me? Like, why are you, like, I was gonna say looking at me this way, but I guess he's not really looking at anybody. But you get what I mean, right? There's just like a really a discomfort
Yep.
in this character. So
Yeah,
yeah, I thought it was
yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool actually. If I may,
This,
actually, I would have loved that like the hand has like much more like tension and grip in the thing. This is maybe something that I saw that I was like, oh, maybe, but seriously, like it's no, it was like good job.
yeah. This for me, like this particular piece has all the elements of a great art piece in its own right. I mean, which this is, of course, but this kind of reminds me, like, weirdly enough, okay, like I know this isn't gonna make much sense, like at face value, but this reminds me a lot of what I see when I go to museums. Um, in the sense that like let's say you go to like a museum and you stare at like great paintings. I find that there's something there. What really makes for me a great painting that's very interesting to look at is that it has on first glance there is something very evocative about it that really attracts your attention, but then the more that you stare at it, the more that it sort of reveals its complexities to you. And I think that this is kind of that, like it's like the the proportions, the pose, everything, like there's a nice dynamism to it. Um, I like that the hands are all sort of doing something a little bit different, and so just like my first impression looking at this was like, whoa, like what is this? This is kind of like really sort of weird and interesting and different. Um, by the way, I also want to point out how everyone is just sculpting really nice butts. Uh, Somehow that seems to be something that seems to come back, for some reason. But
Can I
yeah,
just
like,
say something here, just really quickly, the
yeah,
about
go
the
for it.
butts? I feel like because of like, so you said a comment earlier about like the kind of butts that I do, right? Which I agree.
Yep.
And in the
Hmm.
industry, I remember people telling me like tone down on the butts, like guy or girl, just tone down on the butts. There's it's like going too much into the ass crack and that sort of stuff. And you know what? It's, I mean, it's stronger than me. That's what I like to do, and I'm not ashamed of it. Especially if like you look at the stuff I'm coming out these days, like the Elementalists. Like I'm going for like a lot of like it's voluptuous, let's say. Like there's a lot of that,
Voluptuous,
and
yes.
the basically I in the industry, the comment that people told me the most, it was just like tone it down, tone it down. Except one time I remember when we were working on Gotham Knight. So like Chaos Mason, we did a lot of characters for Gotham Knight, and we worked on the main characters as well, like the first suits. And I remember working on Nightwing, and my art director at the time, Jay Evans, was basically like, "Can you like really make him like a really great butt?" Because like supposedly on the internet, that's what
Say
people
no
are
more.
talking. Like the most like fan art about Nightwing is like Nightwing's butt. So like
Yeah.
let's making like a really nice one. So it's the first time that I was like encouraged to really like go for it, and I was like, all right, let's go, let's unleash the beast.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
that's my
No,
parenthesis.
no, no. That's fine. I mean, like, if we're gonna go down that particular rabbit hole, I also just want to point out the work that I think it was it Joel Schumacher? I think was the director that had worked on like the Batman movies, like the really campy ones, and like
I
he
think
really
so.
had like emphasized a lot of the like the groin and like the pecs through like Batman suit and stuff. Like there was a lot
Oh
of
yeah, the
um
nips of Batman, like on the
yeah, yeah,
Batman.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know, Forever. I think it was, but no, no, Batman. Anyways, whatever. Like the third one, I think.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of emphasis there on the sumptuous parts of Batman's suit. Um, anyway, yeah. No, so yeah, I just wanted to point out, and just to sort of circle back to what I was saying, yeah, like just like design wise, like it's crazy. Like I had not even sort of realized before that what he's kind of pulling with his hands, with their hands, is sort of like kind of looks like a little bit like I guess it's not like if the two mouths that are on top are supposed to be also representations of eyes, sort of like he's kind of almost pulling the eyelids off of those somehow. Like there's just something very interesting. Like I'd have to look at it more to sort of understand what is the intent there in terms of design. But I also think that that's kind of what makes this piece very interesting. It doesn't reveal all of its decisions, all of its complexities instantly to you. It sort of makes you think about that. And for me, that is one of the great things about like really well made art. Like there's some
Hmm.
depth there. It's not just on face value. When you look at it, it's great, but it's also the more you stare at it, the more that it gets you to think and sort of
Yeah,
ask yourself the question also, what was the artist thinking? What was the intention here? What does it evoke to me as well? Because what it evokes to the viewer does not necessarily have to be the same thing that the artist had
absolutely.
intended. So it has all of that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. It's like when I was a kid and I started to go to like museums and I saw like abstract art. Like at first, like I was kind of like not sure, right? But like I was like introduced to it, and basically like the guideline that I was told is just like see whatever you want to see and feel whatever you want to feel. And if you do feel something, well, you've taken something from this piece that at face value might be in quotes nothing, right? And I find that like even in figurative art, like what we have right there, you have the chance to actually express a lot of like yourself, or even like just like put some like intentions, and even if they're like willing or not, whatever you do and however you do it, it's really fun to be able to look at the results afterwards and kind of like just like go on your own journey. And that's, like you said, pretty much like the definition of art by itself, I find. So that's cool. Very cool. By the
Yep.
way, I'm just gonna say real quick, thanks Lava for joining in. This makes this experience like so much better, I find, and I'm having a ton of fun being able to talk with you about all those things.
I appreciate that.
Lava, do you want to take a second to actually promote maybe a bit of your channel or what you do and that sort of stuff?
Sure. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Thanks for that. By the way, okay. So shameless self promotion. Incoming. No. That's a joke. No. Like if people want to follow me, essentially, so I have both a YouTube page and I have my own web platform as well. So if you want to check out the kind of work that I do, or the kind of videos that I post on YouTube on a regular basis, you can see me at Outgang on YouTube, and also you can check my own website here. Outgang.studio, where I regularly post tutorials and other resources to help people become better character artists. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, so that's kind of what I'm doing. I take like lately, it was never really necessarily my intention, but I found that I think a lot of people often struggle with the technical aspects of character art creation, and especially things like normal map baking. What is even like a normal map? Like how do we even understand like smoothing when it comes to polygons, these sorts of things? And I sort of like more or less took it upon me to try to break down those more technical concepts, um, either through the classes that are there, but also on like YouTube. There's a whole lot of resources there too for those who are very interested in character art, and also understanding character art from the perspective of those who create video games as well, because that is of course my specialty there. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Like you don't have to like subscribe on the website if you don't want to, but just on like YouTube itself, like go and check out the content that I have there, because if you are within character art, I'm sure that there's a lot there that will be very useful to you. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and
Thank
I
you.
think just to
I
sing your
appreciate that.
praises as well a little bit, it's I find that like one of your strength is that you have like this well of knowledge in technicality with art, but you are also like a full-fledged artist that act like you're a great artist, but like sometimes great artists they're good at doing art, and when it comes to like technical stuff, it's kind of like they don't want to learn it because it's not what interests them and
Yeah.
stuff. But like I find that like you're really strong in like those two things at the same time. And like I said, I told you last time at the restaurant, it's like I feel like you could be like a technical artist in a studio and just like be really good at it, just because you can bridge those two, like part of the brain, let's say like the artist brain and the technical one as well. So
I
good
appreciate
for
that.
you.
Thank you. I think this comes, like I don't want to dwell on this, but I think a lot of that comes from simply working in the games industry and sort of like trying to be a team player and just asking myself the question, okay, like what can I do to simply make better character art for video games, because like we do see a lot of people who do character art who do character art and do great art, and it's really fantastic to look like, but you're like, maybe you wouldn't actually succeed on the video game production, because there's also the whole technical aspect of like, okay, we're not only making characters, but we're making characters that have to run in real time, and we're always trying to push the limits of what we can do. And even just to push the limits of what we can do within a video game artistically, we have to at the same time push the technical aspect as well, because those are very intertwined. We can't separate those when it comes to video games, because if we can make a character run faster on a console, then we can also make it look better because we'll have more resources at our disposal. So I think in a way I kind of always sort of like develop that sort of taste for both the technical and the artistic side, and really understanding how both sort of bridge together, because for me that really is at the heart of making character art for video games.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
absolutely. And I think knowing you personally, it's a great definition of your interests and skills. So yeah.
thanks.
All right. Well, that's cool. That's cool. Let's get back. Get back into it. We're gonna go see our ninth place, Thomas Legal.
Definitely French.
Boom, Thomas Legal, or in English, Thomas Legal. So, so ninth place with the sloth sinner. I think this one is not hiding its cards. I think that's a French expression. Actually, I'm not even sure if it's an English expression, but basically, like pretty obvious in that sense. But I thought that it had actually a really great feel, even if it's like obvious. It might actually be like in a way it might be a bit on the like opposite of like the last piece that we saw, which was like a lot to the interpretation. Like this one is very like figurative and intentional in what it is, right? But I thought there was something really great about this composition. And one thing that I wanted to highlight about this one that I thought was really cool is basically the fact that the piece is like flat on the ground. It's like normally you always get like a character that's like standing up
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff.
That's such a
This one
good
is
point.
actually just like a guy on the floor, and I thought that was actually a very interesting thing. Uh,
That's a good
oh,
point. I haven't thought of that before, but yeah, this is like very different. Uh,
mm-hmm. Yeah, it
Also,
is.
like the diamond shapes on the things really remind me of like Cedric. Every time I see a diamond shape somewhere, I think of Cedric, because like he just puts diamonds everywhere. I feel like shape
Yeah,
wise. So
yeah. Also
there's
like
yeah.
petals and like flowery thing is like a
Yes, yes,
visual
yes, yes,
language that he
exactly.
uses a
Yeah, yeah,
lot.
yeah.
So I
Yep, yeah, yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
see what you mean right there. I don't know if Tomo was
Yeah.
inspired by Cedric on this one, but you know what? I would be able to put a bit of money on this one actually. Let's start the gamble. It's such a great value.
What are we gambling?
Don't do that, kids. So yeah, no. All in all, I thought it was pretty good in the execution and the feeling of the thing and everything. So yeah, that's a nice one.
Super nice work.
Yeah, really gross, of course. Uh, but yeah, all in all, pretty good. All right, so now we are at the eighth place with Vladimir Zvakin. This one is absolutely repulsing. I hate it,
In a
and I
very
love.
good way.
Yeah,
Like the
in
feeling
a
of the
very good
flesh is
way.
so good. It's so good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like it's. I just don't want to be here. Also, like the old environment with the chains and everything, it's like adding like extra to the kind of like if you end up in that room, if you fall in that trap and that's in front of you, it's just like what's gonna happen to me? Like what is gonna happen to me literally? Like I want to know like the technically what he's going to do because that little thing at the front, that's kind of like a cut
Hmm.
neck, but also possibly something a bit more uh,
It
genitalic. I don't know.
it's an umbilical cord. That's
You
what
think
it's an
so?
umbilical cord. Uh, I don't think that someone who would sculpt this would ever think of doing something with, nether
No,
regions,
you don't.
right? Right? No, I'm just joking. I'm just
Nah,
joking.
of
Yeah,
course not. And also, like, I just want to point out, like, the view of the back, the crouched character. Let's say that's at the back. So you really do have like a character on its belly, with the legs crouched and everything. Trying to get like a
yeah.
good view. There you go. So you have
You
it
can
like
really feel the
this.
spine and the back that's sort of protruding there. It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, really, really nice, right, nice work. Really nice shapes, also I find in terms of like the anatomy of the character and the rendition of like the skin is has a really good feel to it. So yeah, and let's look at the turntable like this.
Yeah, it's an amazing
Uh,
sculpt.
yeah, all in all, really cool. Like a few other sculptures, I like when you can't really tell if like something's like the leg or the arms of the character, depending on like their position and their look. So yeah, it's really cool. Good
Hmm.
job.
I keep thinking of what you said at the beginning of like, oh, what's going to happen if I fall in the pit and that's the creature that I'm faced with. And all I can think of is that whatever's going to happen to you, it's going to happen very slowly.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. Which is
It's not going to be quick. Yeah, you'll
yeah,
have time to savor the particular
yeah. I'm
experience.
more of a rip the band-aid off quickly kind of person than slowly. So yeah, I would actually be inclined to finish it quick. Let's say. Would there be a way to finish it quick in that room right there? Not really even. Even the
um,
hook there is not going to help us. So
yeah,
yeah, we're done. We're done
yeah,
with
yeah.
this one.
Good luck. Yeah, you're screwed.
So yeah, good job, Vladimir Zvakin with this one.
And we have
Uh,
Thomas in the chat saying, "Thanks a lot, guys. I really enjoy creating the art piece for this particular contest." And
Perfect,
yeah,
awesome, great. Yeah, I saw people talking in the chat
congratulations
and
again,
like
Thomas.
showing when it was their art and everything, and you should be proud. You should like everybody should be really proud of their work. Like I said, even that's why I made the nominees. It's because there was not the nominees, geez, the honorable mention because there was just like so much good stuff, and I really think that people should be proud of the amount of work that they did. I mean, let's be honest. Um, there is stuff that people have to be working on to make the piece like better, like some people, and not pointing fingers at anybody, right? Some people like the sculpt was maybe not really done well, the anatomy might have been off, maybe the feel of the material was off, maybe the coloring was off, the rendering and this and that. The list can get really long, but I mean the road to become a good artist is paved with like improvement, right? So of course like we could be pointing at those things and stuff, but I mean, I really wanted this like stream to be more about like celebrating what people did well, and I think that people should be just really proud to have been able to finish an art piece, to have accomplished it, just participating in the contest by itself, and just like
Yeah,
delving into that also. So it's just great. I mean, everybody should be proud of like what they did because if you keep that attitude and that fire, that's what's going to make you continue and improve and go forward. So yep.
absolutely.
So this one, I think I'm going to put the turntable of this one right away because the renders and the turntable for this one is the pretty much the same rendition. Um, so this one, first of all, it's just really well sculpted. like the quality of the sculpt is amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll take a look at it when we look at the renders itself. But I really like that the theme is I don't I don't know what's the proper word for it. I was going to say like naive, but it's not what I mean. It's like there's like a simplicity to it because we see that in nature, right? Like animals that are
Yes.
like their survival is basically based on getting the most like nutrition and that sort of stuff. Like even over their their siblings, not siblings, but whatever. Like, yeah, well, they're siblings, and
Yep.
like on farms, like often like to be able to keep all of the like the let's say like the pigs, your pigs, like you have like baby piglets and whatever, to be able to keep them all, some of them you're going to have to feed yourself manually because they're not going to have enough space. Like the mother's not going to have enough nipples, or like the other babies are going to be too big and that sort of stuff. By the way, I was not raised on a farm, so I might be talking out of my ass a little bit. I hope I'm not. But nature is kind of like in a way not like very kind in the definition, in the human definition of kindness, right? Because nature is just is, like nature is, and that's it, right? It's not like moral or this or anything, right? But so there's a simplicity in this piece because it's just what nature is by itself, right? But I love the personification of the gluttony in this one actually, because it's just it's just really well done. And it puts it so evil, right? That like this like chicken would actually just like mutate and step over like its sibling to get the most of everything. And you see, it's not like another sibling is like a little bit smaller. They're all small. Like this is like the piece of shit one that's actually just taking everything for itself.
Yep. Unfortunately, it's someone that's going to survive. Like, yeah,
Yeah, exactly. It's like survival of the fittest in the meanest way possible, basically. And
yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah.
just really yeah. Oh, there I see on the chat innocence. I think it's a good word to express what I wanted to say. Like it's not naivete, but like innocence, like because of what I said about nature and stuff. It's just maybe it's not his fault. It's just nature is how it is. But I mean, in that case, with the big teeth and that face, not sure this one is like purely good. I think there's some chaotic evil in this chicken.
Yeah. It's a very classic piece too. Like this reminds me a lot of the classical sculptures that you see in like museums that were created centuries ago with like multiple characters in there, and they're all sort of like they have different poses, and their pose really conveys something about their personality, about their standing, their state. Reminds me a lot like the story is a little bit different, but not completely unrelated to. Like this reminds me a lot of Ugolino and Sons. For those who want to Google that here, just in terms of like it's a different kind of story a little bit in terms of piece, but it just reminds me of that of like you have the main sort of character, and then you have like other side characters that are all sort of layered around that in terms of their position on the piece. It's just like it reminds me a lot of those kind of classical sculptures that we would see in like a museum. So yeah, we can see here that the artist absolutely has some classical interest or training, definitely, to go beyond just their absolutely amazing abilities to sculpt.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I believe that the like the expression of like this sculpture really has like a classical feel, and it really shines it shines through. And but you see,
El
that's
Nibio in
also
the chat, by the way. Just
sorry.
sorry to cut you off there. El
What did you say?
Nibio in the chat. Ugolino. We have. Sorry, I'm blanking out on your exact name right now. I do apologize for that. But um, can you remind us, Marco, who created this
Uh,
beautiful work?
well, the yes, Roberto Cogoni
Yeah,
is yeah.
Roberto, we got you in the chat right now. And yeah, he is saying that Ugolino by Carpo, which is Jean-Michel Carpo, Jean-Luc Carpo, I think. Anyway, was inspiration. So yeah, great work, by the way, that you've done. Like it is absolutely fantastic.
Yep. Yep, I agreed. A little hair also. It's a nice little touch and everything. So cool. Maybe you can work on the as a next piece on the full mutation of this one, what it became after it continued its reckless endeavor. Cool. So yep, good job once again. So next one by Andrei
Yeah,
Podgornov. So Andrei
I love
Podgornov
the face in this one.
participated in the sorry participated in the last contest as well, the mechanical one, and made it to the winners as well. So like Marco Lombardi, he's joining the ranks of people who made it twice the winner twice a winner streak on the Chaos Masons contests, and I could I see the resemblance in between both of his pieces. There is such a style to what he does, and but I love it. I really like it. By the way, this was one of like my most favorite piece, and on one end, there is like kind of like a simplicity to it because it is like a character standing, right? But there's a lot of intention on the design of this character that I just find that like hits like just so well. Stuff just look at the shapes of the hands. They're just like really well done. Everywhere that you look on the character, it's just well done. Like at the minimum level, it's well done, and some stuff is just like really great. Cool lighting also. I thought the lighting was
Yep.
pretty nice, very
Yep.
striking. Like this is
Oh,
fucking
I love it
disgusting.
so much.
It's
Yeah. It's
disgusting.
so off-putting. It's so upsetting in such a good way. You know, like
Yeah,
it's so, God, like this is what the stuff of nightmares right there. And like I love the little tentacles too at the end of like the tongue there. It's like you know,
yeah.
it's just gonna come and just like tickle you or like
He's
something.
gonna
Like
tickle you, and
it's
then
great.
you're gonna
It's
get
great.
your hand like eaten, but like not like just like chopped off. Like like your hand is gonna go in really slowly, and it's gonna get like eaten just like little bit by little bit. It's so gross,
Yeah.
like how the mouth is done and everything, and that crazy look that's like looking just like beyond you and everything. Once again, another one where like probably blind as well, right? If you look at the iris, right? It's just like it's just so gross. Um, I
Twig
always
says
love.
in the chat, Twig says dental billing must be brutal.
Oh, dude, don't
Yeah,
even try.
somehow I have a feeling that this creature doesn't have a dentist. Okay, like there's just something about it that I'm like, I don't think that this creature goes to see the doctor on a regular basis. Just
Yeah, exactly.
my chest thought.
Invisalign did not want to sponsor us, and so so yeah, basically, just really nice. I really have a fascination for characters that like have like a small mouth, but that the mouth looks like really powerful. Like I think like to make a character look gigantic and strong, like a tip I'm giving to everyone, give them smaller eyes and smaller mouth. Like if the eyes and the mouth is like smaller on the body, like it basically gives the impression that like the rest is just muscles working those like small orifice, and it just makes it like look like much like more like brutal and strong. Like it has a less of a range, but it just like it defines the rest of the body as like something that's like bigger and stronger actually. So yes, this is a little observation and tip and whatever.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah,
cool texture on this one.
yeah.
Shader texture, everything, just nice. If you look at the sculpture, the surface detail, it's just really great, really well calibrated.
It's so crazy. You can feel like the skin pulling in all sorts of different ways, and like
Hmm.
there's really nice balance too to like the tertiary details. Like you get all these like very interesting wrinkles in different places. You get all these skin pores. Like it's very complete. Like
Yeah,
it's very well balanced. It's very tasteful. It's not too strong. It's not too light. Like it's
yeah.
like everything is very well balanced. Yeah.
The veins on the arm, you really feel the layering. Like it really feels credible. Like I feel like you can really see how big the vein is under the skin, and I find that this is yep, this is just all in all just really well done. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, excellent craftsmanship. Also, there was like these renders where you can actually see a bit more of the texture. It's like less contrasted and more readable on
Yeah.
the surface and stuff. Yeah, good, really good texture. It's really nice
Oh,
because you can really like have like a you can see like the difference in between like the more yellowish parts, the more red part, the bluish taints. Like there's really a
yep.
use of the entire color spectrum in a one material. It's just skin, right? But like there's a lot of expression of colors all around and very good.
Yeah. 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 One thing too, I want to point out,
Nice butt as well.
this
I
really
just want to say
captures.
nice butt too.
Yes,
So
that
butt
is
alert.
like people might not have known this so far, but this was actually one of the requirements to be nominated or be one of the winners. Like the butt has to be
Mm-hmm.
sumptuous. Um,
Exactly. Sorry for
and
interrupting you. Go ahead.
oh yes, you should be. No, like one thing I actually wanted to point out about this particular piece in particular was like there's like for those watching who are interested in character design, like this captures a lot of like character design 101, and one of the things that I really want to point out is the big to small balance within details where you have less details and you have bigger details further down on the character, and as you go up towards the face and towards the mouth, like the character, like the details become more frequent and become smaller and smaller, and of course that's a guideline when it comes to design. Like you can obviously break these rules in all sorts of different ways, but that is one of the things that we do teach, part of character design 101 is just like less details, uh, uh further down on the character, more details and smaller details towards the face, because you really want to attract the viewer's attention to the face and to that particular zone. And that's what high frequency details do. They attract your eye towards that particular zone.
Yeah, I think also it's good to have a certain focus with the hands because naturally people are going to look at the hands of characters as well because it's actually a defense mechanism for humans because like we know that the hands of people can do a lot and like they are the action of the character. So it can also be like a point of focus. So when people put attention to the hands, honestly, you're doing yourself a favor as well. Except if they're not in the focus. Like when you do like a bust of a character like this, of course you don't have to focus on the hands, right? But like if you're gonna do a full body, really important in my opinion to make sure that the hands are very expressive. Um,
Yep.
yep.
Yep. Twig says
So
in chat, these works remind me that it's okay to leave parts which are not the focus of the piece effectively undetailed, often struggling to let it go. Yes, absolutely. But that's hard, right? Like it's hard to let go of something sometimes. You're like, I just want to throw all the details at it, and then especially when we sculpt and we start zooming in and like zooming in and like zooming in on like the infinite like zones of the character, and yeah, it is hard to let that go. That's a skill that's like experience. I think like really gets people to really sort of understand that. It's like, okay, where do I want the viewer to look, and then to really guide the viewer's eye towards that particular zone by balancing out amount of details there, by adding more details towards that particular zone of focus, and putting less elsewhere.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's something I keep repeating on my streams. It's sometimes I'm going to be working on a character on a part of a character, and I'm going to actually like say out loud like right now my intention is not to make this part look necessarily good or polished because it's a section of the character that is not really attracting the attention of the person. So like I'm going to let myself be less critical about like this part of the character because I know that like during my renders I'm going to be focusing more on like other parts, or even if I do a full body I know that like these are going to be more like in the shadow or just not the point of focus basically. So even if I do apply some work on him, I might actually be less prioritizing these parts, let's say.
Yeah.
Okay, so next one. So we are at the fifth place. A work by Gustavo Graziano.
Oh, the face is
Graziano.
so good on this one.
Yeah.
This piece is crazy.
So this one was really cool. I'm playing Baldur's Gate right now, and there's a lot of like hags in the game and stuff, and it really just made me. I really resonated, particularly because of that reason. No, not particularly. The particularly is because this is just like a work that's really well done. But it did resonate. I actually liked it and stuff. Yeah, it's just really cool. In terms of the general composition of the character, already very nice. The pose is really cool. The feeling that like the hag is dangling and holding on the cane is like you can really feel it really well. And then you can actually go and zoom in and go into like hyper like details like of the face, and there is like more to see as well. Like in terms of like the range that you can appreciate this character, there's a lot. There's a lot
Yeah.
of the range for sure. Even the eyes, there was a lot of attention that was put on the eyes. The eyes feel very good, very good. Just like look at the teeth, like even like the the not the cavities, but whatever, like
Like
just
the
like
like
the
yeah,
dirt
yeah,
like
yeah.
around the gunk around like the gums and all that
Yep.
stuff. Just so much work has been put in this character. So yeah, look, I mean, in terms of like composition, especially like when you see like the back and the front like this, the composition of both of them together, super nice. The attention to the detail. Look at like how the hand is like holding on its on the other hand. All the fingers are not like straight. They all have like a different like orientation to them and everything. It's really good in terms of like posture and stuff. Very high, very high appreciation for it, and a lot of love has been put into this character. The dread, kind of like swampy hair, super cool. Um, yeah, just all in all, really good,
Yeah,
really
we
good
could
stuff.
gush about this piece for a very long time. If you can go back to the shot that you had before, actually, if you can go back, yeah, yeah. Forward one more, please. Yeah, just like right there. Look at the muscles, like the scapula, right? Like the shoulder bone. You can see the muscles pulling from there towards the actual arm. You know, like if you look at where the scapula is, you have like that medial ridge of the
Mm-hmm.
scapula, and you
Yep.
can see like all of the muscles there that are like nicely pointing towards the arm, towards the shoulder there. Yeah, like it's like anatomically speaking, it's very well realized for a character who is in such a dynamic, expressive pose to really still get the anatomy down and really make it this convincing. I think is absolutely commendable. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like the expressivity in the face too is just amazing. I love how asymmetric the whole face is.
Yep.
That's hard to do, you know. It's very easy to always sculpt everything completely symmetrically, and then kind of just at the end try to break the symmetry down a little bit. But when you really spend a lot of time to make the character very asymmetric, and perhaps even earlier in the process of like sculpting it, you really get something that is so much more expressive. And this is a really good example of that.
Yep. Absolutely. Um, we uh, there's something that was part of like the prizes of the contest was to the five first places. Right now we're at the fifth place, so we just entered this section. The five first places, I told myself like I was going to give like the most time if needed to talk about the model, but also give like more specific like pointers, let's say like stuff that like I've noticed, stuff that I wanted to maybe like express or take more time. So it's kind of like weird because on one sense, on one end, it might actually make the five first place the one that the ones that get like comments about like how to make stuff like better and that sort of stuff, like actual like reviews, right? It's a bit ironic that like the best one are kind of like pointed like pointed finger at, let's say. So I hope this is not like how it's taken, but for me, I just see it as like some sort of like a privilege of time that like we invest ourselves and like maybe give some tips and stuff. So I hope this is seen that way, but I'm going to permit myself to kind of like point out a few things that might actually be helpful in the future. um, so one of the things that like I wanted to point at is the scales. If you look at the scales on the character, the way that the gradient out of the character themselves, you have to think about the fact that like scales, they're basically like nails. They grow on like an organic matter, the same way that nails are growing. So the way that like they actually become less visible, or the way that they would gradient out, personally how I would have done it is not necessarily that they're losing intensity or opacity. It's more that like they would actually like reduce in size and get smaller and smaller, and at the same time less intense. But like reducing their scale, the scale, the scale of the scale, reducing like the size of these scales, the way that they go up the body. That's how I would have actually maybe more like tackled this fade out, let's say. If you look at like, for example, like I'll try to um, pangolin. Let's look at a pangolin, for example. All right. So a pangolin basically is kind of like an armadillo, but like the scales are look like more like nails rather than like plates, let's say. And if we look at a baby, yeah, okay, so I can't really like zoom in too much, but like you see like around the arm here, you can see the nails that are actually starting to be like less pronounced, right? And it's really like about them becoming less big in terms of like their scale. Like you see, they're kind of like becoming smaller and they're fading out at the same time. And I feel that like in nature, it's always that's happening. Like there's always like a construction to thing, and then when you look at the least advanced construction of an element, it's going to be of a certain way and growing in like a certain way. So it's just an extra attention that could be put to it, I would say. So yeah, this is just like something I've seen. um
Did you know that pangolins are mammals? That blew
yeah.
my mind when I learned that.
Yeah, I know they're weird. I love
They're so
pangolins.
weird.
Like they're just like really cool.
Yeah. No, they are. Yeah.
um, something else that I've noticed, and that I might be wrong, but like when there's like cavities and stuff, normally I try to not put too much like wrinkles in the cavities, because by nature like sometimes like a wrinkle can go over like a cavity, but it's gonna actually become like wider as it actually like goes into like the crevasse. It's gonna lose like its stretch. So this is just like something also like I would do, like if you actually have wrinkles, like strong wrinkles like on your shape, just consider like having them change their shape as they are going into like an incline, or as they're reaching like an apex. Like sometimes you might actually have less scales on like the apex of a curve, just because it's getting like flatter and that sort of stuff, which is something you can see that's like happening on the character in some areas. But whatever, still, at the very least, I'm just mentioning something for everyone, using this as an example. But yeah.
Yeah.
um it's really hard to point out other stuff, because like I said, it's just like a really well done piece. It's really interesting that the colors are so saturated as well for something
Yeah.
that's like so horrible and
Yeah.
swampy, but it has
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a
I love it.
really cool look to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The base is really
It's hard to pull
wonderful
that
as
off,
well.
like it's hard to
Yep.
pull that off, to make something look colorful and yet still horrific and well balanced. Like it's very, very hard to pull off. So
Yeah. So yeah, all in all, really good job on this one. Let's go to the next one. Except if you have something else you want to add, Laura.
no, that was great. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Fourth place. All right, this one's a good one.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, like this is
I get
another
Bloodborne
one.
vibes on this.
Oh, well, it's. I mean, yeah. What's his freaking name? The last boss from
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah. From
from the
the
DLC
DLC.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, I
the
don't remember the name
child
either
child
now.
of Or, child of Oz, or no, Kos,
Yeah, that's
Kos, the child of
Kos.
Kos, or children of Kos, or something like
Exactly.
that. Orphan of Kos.
Orphan
There you
Kos.
go.
Orphan Kos. Yeah,
Exactly, the
Orphan
orphan of
Kos.
the
Oh my god,
cosmos.
yes.
Yeah, it gave me strong vibes of this one for sure. But be reassured, it was not. I did not judge the character based on a resemblance to something. Like it's really judged by what it is by itself. I'm just gonna start by saying, like the piling of matter. I just really like it. It's so
It's so
like
good.
chaotic and gross in a sense, and but the more you go up the character, the more like there's like such an attractiveness to the character as well, and it blends really really well. Like I think that like this character really, yeah, I just it struck me like the moment I saw this image, especially because also like of the background, like it sets you like in the mood of what's happening, that kind of like siren esque vibe to it. And it's really a mix of like I don't want to be here, and like step on me queen at the same time. So
Yeah, yeah.
like all in all, like really cool. Let's check some of the other renders.
Also, just to say, like, it's I want to congratulate having created a piece that is so sexual and yet there is no sexy bits showing.
Mm-hmm.
Like not that we are prude necessarily when it comes to these kind of contests, but of course, showing these things on stream becomes a bit harder if there's a lot of nudity involved there. But just like, yeah, like it is extremely tasteful, and it is extremely evocative, and it does not rely on simply showing the sexy bits, and um, yeah,
Yeah,
it's very
it
off-putting.
has restraint, but it delivers a lot of like sexual energy at the same time. So yeah, completely see what you mean there.
Yeah.
And so yeah, no, just like I thought it was really good. The composition, like I said, was one of the things that like I like the most. Just the a bit like Andre's one, the just the definition of the skin is just it's really well balanced, I find, and it really works good on the character.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You can see the inspiration of slugs, dude. There's a lot of slugs in there in terms of like, yeah, like that
Hmm.
part there where like your cursor is. That's like very slug inspired.
Yeah. Also,
The way
so
that
you know what?
yeah.
Yeah,
No, go.
you know what? Something I really like also is that when you're reaching the extremities of the character, uh, the um, the treatment of the skin is of the treatment of the surface is changing. Like it's acknowledging that it's coming to like an extremity, and I find that this is something very important. Like a very well done. It's a good attention. Like in nature, you'll always see that. Maybe not always. Let's not talk in absolutes, no, but like when like a shape is coming to its end, there's always going to be like a contour, or like you see like
Hmm.
nature treated the edge like a certain way, or like it was formed and became an extremity, and whatever it's there. It's nuts when you start to observe nature and like how it actually like creates things, and then when you take that in consideration and you put it in your art, I think at the very least subconsciously people like see it and acknowledge it, or they just accept it more. So yeah. So for this one, the it's like I would have really loved to actually have like more like sculpted hair, let's say. It takes a little while though to notice that like the hair has not received like the same amount of like treatment, I'd say. Maybe the artist didn't have the time. Absolutely fine. Or maybe the artist like felt that like the composition, like the essential of the character was not hindered by not having sculpted hair. And you know what? I would actually agree with that because, like I said, it takes a while to notice that there's not the same amount of like of detail in the hair and stuff. Um, Plus, the hair that's sculpted there has like a nice like feel to it already. So um, I would have just like loved to see something like a little bit more like at the same level of like finishing and attention as the rest. Maybe the same thing with the rocks. Like for me, like they feel like a bit like soft. It would be nice to have just like zones that they're like more sharp. Let's say, right? Sometimes it's like when your stuff is muddy like that, you don't get much surface, and it gets like naturally soft for sure, right? But I think like there's just like a certain um, like constant softness that I would have maybe put some other like treatment to it. Um, Sometimes I'm not this critical when it's a base, right? But since this is part of like the character and its composition, I feel like it could have just like level it up just a little bit more if there was some like variation in the stone, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
just a little bit more breakup in there. Just a few tiny little stones here and there, just to sort of complete the detail balance there.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, there is one more thing I can say. Maybe is well, two things I'd say. Um, I think that I would have tried to put a little bit more like cavities in between the nails of the hand because I feel that something's happening is like it feels like the nail are finishing and then the hand is starting and
Yeah.
kind of like
Yeah.
the same way that I said earlier about like Andre's image where like you could feel the vein under the skin. I think that like it would be important to feel like the other phalanges of like because they're okay well there's probably not phalanges inside of a nail, but the continuation of the finger, even if like it gets like joined by skin, like I think it would be important to just like treat these to and feel like a bit more like the nail really goes like inside and transforms inside of the hand itself. Like this is what I call layering, basically. So that's like something I think I would have like pushed for, let's say a little bit. Um,
I call
I
that the
feel
Wolverine problem.
the that's
Wolverine problem. It's
that's
like
a
you
really
see the
good
blades sticking
expression.
out, but somehow there's something about like it just doesn't fit. Like that this does not fit inside. Like there's just something about like it does not fit inside there. Um, yeah, when you feel like a bit of a disconnect between what is on the outside and what is on the inside there. But like, yeah.
That's
Once again,
that's
though, like
that's
these
a
are very
perfect
minor
analogy.
issues, extremely minor things, like in the context of like the bigger piece.
Oh yeah, like
By the way, did we thank her by name? I just want to make sure that we did.
yeah, I did. It's Maria Anikona.
Yeah.
But yeah, the that's the thing. I feel so bad giving like comments about those things because in my head I'm like, but it's so great. It's like it's so stupid to say comments, but I still want to. I know like people often ask for comment and how to make things like better and stuff or whatever. And it's all subjective, right? But we're taking that's what the winners get. Like we're taking an extra bit of time um to point at things and see if we can help as well. And you take it or leave it, right? We might be wrong. We might actually be off your intention. So yeah, really take it or leave it. Let's not that soil the celebration of your great art. Let's say. Um, Last thing I
Also,
would say, I would have wished that like the line flow here would have more of like a kind of like a constructed sense. Like I feel there's like a bit of like chaos in the lines here. Like I feel like if it would have more of like a kind of like a constant flow or like a pattern, like a definable pattern to the flow of the line, I think it would have helped maybe a little bit as well. But we're starting to get very minor and stuff. But whatever.
yeah,
I've mentioned it. There we go. So let's just finish by saying once again, congratulations on that piece. It's incredible. It's
it's a great piece.
yep, great piece. incredible.
I just
I
want to
would
point out too, just
absolutely
one more
have a
thing.
poster of that actually.
That
Um,
I would dread inside having that around my house,
yeah,
in a good way. Yeah. No,
I
I
would put it in
just
my
only wanted to
boudoir.
point out in your boudoir.
All right, next one.
As work is something that I also look up to on a regular basis, like as like really absolutely great art pieces. And I think it's really wonderful to see more women do 3D sculpting too. So I think that that's really, really fantastic, and to see them in the spotlight too. So yeah, great work there.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, sorry, my video camera disconnected for a second, so I had to play around with it a little bit. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, I'm a little bit like
Are
off camera now. Um, but I think everything's fine. People are still online, right? That did not disconnect anything. We're still streaming.
yeah, you're still streaming.
Okay, all right.
I can still hear you on Twitch too, so I think you're good.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, you were talking about Maria Panfilanova, huh?
Yeah. No, I'd like I just find that there's some inspiration there between the work, and I just wanted to point out because like I think that um I like to celebrate also women who do 3D art. I think it's really really amazing to see uh work that they do there, and yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out there.
Yeah, I mean, Maria
Because
is doing so much like incredible work. It's insane. I think you can sing her praises all day for sure, especially in terms of like the mood or like the story, the expressiveness and that sort of stuff. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, and you know what? Good job for a woman in the industry for sure. I feel like so actually, you know what? Uh, coming from a outsourcing studio, well, having built an outsourcing studio and hiring people, I think that like this is what's fun about this industry is that there's like a relatively high percentage of women in the industry. I would not be surprised if it's like a good like 40% to 60. Like I don't know what the numbers are really, but it's nice to be part of an industry that actually like you don't need to like who cares about your gender, who cares about your culture, you just get to be an artist and you can do like great work and stuff. And when I look at the world and like how like stuff like shit that's happening in the world that's just like fucking negative and depressing, I always find it nice to come back to work and just see that like anybody around the world is just trying to do cool stuff, and we don't care about like our differences. We're just uniting in art and whatever. That's a great thing. Seriously, I'm really happy when I see that kind of stuff.
cheers.
Cheers. Yeah. All right. So third place, Louis Philippe Bélanger. So this character here, let me just show the full frame character. There you go. I mean, it's really special. There is no like
Yeah.
screen format made for this character. Like this character does not want to be taken into like a full size picture. And a you know what? I think it's really really ballsy to go like to that extreme. It just gives really a great feel to the character. The character's pride, by the way, if you didn't notice, I mean it's like higher than anybody else. Like it's so like on the nose in a sense, but it really, really, really delivers. Um, there is something also I really love is the huge contrast in between the parts that are actually let's call them natural, let's say, or like beautiful, and the parts that are actually like getting a bit more monstrous and stuff. It really struck me actually. I did appreciate the contrast between the both of them. Um, there's also like a little like secret. Look at the head.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
There's
I love that.
actually, and this is something like, to be honest, when I saw it, I actually like it. It bumped it a little bit more in terms of design. It's that there's actually nothing inside. Like the head,
It is
it's
hollow
just like
inside. Yeah.
it's hollow, like it's nothing. So, and for me, like I was like, oh yeah, it's like that character is proud, but maybe inside of themselves they don't feel like they're enough, right? And maybe like their expression of pride is like a defense mechanism because yeah, they just feel empty, let's say. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I
Yeah,
just
no,
thought
that
that was
that is amazing. It's so good.
yeah. And in 360 like that, plus like the super long royal cape and everything. Yeah, just like the regal feel of it, just really well done. Um, the colors as well. I find it's like we're once again in like monochromatic for sure, but seriously, the way that the colors are like the gradient of them. There is once again you can see that there's like many like colors. There's like some yellows, some blues, some reds happening all around at the same time. There's a certain richness to the texture, although there's a certain simplicity as well because we're talking about like yeah like just it's just skin and there's two parts of the skin but still there's a some rich nuanced richness to it that I actually really appreciated. So yeah, like
Yeah,
seriously, like really good, really good. I think
yeah,
like I would have loved to have some genitals on this character, but it would have made it hard to like post it on social medias and that sort of stuff, right? I don't know of if like the artist is on the stream right now. I don't know if that was like a censoring for the medias more than just like an artistic choice or a personal choice. But I think if it would have like the genitals on top of that, it would have actually just like have a little bit more of that. I don't know, whatever. Maybe I'm
yeah.
just a pig, also.
It's really hard to make something simple and yet so well executed, you know? Like it's so hard and someone mentioned before, I'd have to check the chat again to see who actually mentioned that, but you know, that sort of restraint of like holding ourselves back from just adding just an orgy of details all of the time, you know? Um, like something does not have to be highly detailed to be well executed or to be interesting. And for me, this is a really, really good example of that. It's like it's one of the simplest pieces of the contest in a way in terms of detailing, and yet it's also one of the most well realized one because everything is well balanced. The design's very interesting. The low amount of details on the character really allows us to appreciate the shapes and the design more. You know, like if this character had been highly detailed, it would have been very very different character, and I don't think it would have been as high in terms
Hmm.
of its finishing place. But because the number of like there's a lot of restraint in the details there, it really makes us appreciate the shape and just the awesome design that there is there. Also, like taking limbs and just like stretching it to this degree could have gone wrong in so many different ways, but somehow it still works. You know, like they really pull it off. Like it's just like design wise, this is absolutely one of the strongest, if not the strongest piece. I think that the perhaps like that's very debatable, of course, but like there's just something about the design of this particular character that has been completely nailed 100%. And it really, like as you said, like it's very on point too with the sin itself, which is pride. You know, it's like this is an extremely prideful character, and you have the head that is hollow on the inside. It's like everything has been really thought through. You know, it's like this character is prideful, really shows themselves to be this really beautiful creature, but when you look inside, there is nothing there. You know, like it's very on the nose, but it is very very well made, and you can see how ugly they are on the inside. Like it's so evocative. Like this is really art that has been elevated to, or rather, this is 3D art that really has been elevated to me to the degree of art. You know, not that 3D art is not art, but like I could definitely see this like in a museum somewhere. I could see this, like be celebrated beyond just 3D art itself.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, no, this is so good in so many different ways. For me, the only critique that I have, really is just that I really wish that the face, like that hollowness, like when you look at her from behind, like you have that really horrible face that is on the inside. I just didn't find that to be conveyed well in the turntable. When you play the turntable, it doesn't really show because of the shadows, because of the lighting, because of like everything that's not really visible there too much, and like I don't know how you fix that. Maybe you add a little bit of a light on the inside, very subtle light on the inside of the face to sort of bring attention to that. Maybe you make the eyes glow more. I don't know exactly, but there has to be a way to really make it so that when the turntable turns around and you finally see the inside of the face, that really sort of gives you like a step back, be like, oh my God, so I just wish that had been conveyed a little bit more there. But beyond that, this is just I think this is like a masterclass of how to do very tasteful, very good minimalist design.
Yep, I agree. Actually, you know what? Just because you're talking about that, some ideas come to mind, and I wonder if, like, for example, if like she had like an open mouth, and if like the tongue, actually the tongue was coming out of her neck like this, and like from the side. I'm trying to get a side picture. Okay, like if like the tongue was coming out like this, going up and then reaching inside, if that would have put like attention to look at the back of the head like this, just by having like an extra plus like the tongue, you can give it like a brighter like color and it brings like attention to it. So maybe that's just an idea. It's just we're just spitballing over here. By the way, the artist is on the chat. Hell P. It's a very nice name. LP. Louis Philippe. Get it? LP. Hell P. Anyways.
Yeah, nice, 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 nice.
Um, so yeah, about the nudity of the character, he says, yeah, I thought it might be too intense for the contest. So yeah, it was holding back for just the showability, if I actually can use that word. Anyway, so yeah, I think I wanted to add like maybe like something myself. The only thing really that I saw that I was like, oh, I wish that was done this way. It's about the connection of the cape on the character. I would have wished that the cape would be actually integral to the body, so that like it's not like that it's going under um like another layer of skin, but that really like the skin of the character would actually transform into the cape, a bit like the webbing between like fingers and stuff. Or if you look just like a dragon wing or a bat wing, just really having like it transition naturally to it. I think this would have actually added that would have added a bit to the character. It's more complex for sure, but I don't know. That is something I have to say. Yeah. Otherwise, congratulations. Seriously,
Yep,
that's
congratulations.
yep, really good, really cool for sure. Um, all right, let's jump to the second place. We're 2 hours and a half in, and so I think we're gonna be ending on the 3 hour mark, and that's gonna be a perfect timing. Um, Second place. So Kaizi Gulev, I think the name is not on the folder.
Oh, yes.
This one is, yeah, like the
Yeah.
moment I saw it, I was like, that's like a winner for sure. Absolutely a winner. Um, it's just fucking gross. I hate it and I love it and all that stuff. It's really, really bad what's happening in this picture right now. And also, you have a little surprise. There's a
Yeah,
freaking
yeah,
head
yeah.
that's coming out of the back of the character. It's just there is there is nothing to like about this creature in the best way possible. And seriously, like the little hair on it, all the puzzles and everything. I love the layering of the skin of the character. You see how like the
It
skin is
is
like
so
fat
good.
and like
It's
all
so
like
good.
yeah, like turning on itself.
Yeah.
and everything, or like all the organs
Oh yeah, yeah.
inside like
You
this
can feel
connecting.
it. It's like you can feel like you can imagine yourself touching it. Yeah, like you really feel the texture. Like
Oh
the
yeah.
texture of this piece is just like off the wall.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's just gross, and it's really nice because also like all the organs are textured very well. Like you have parts that are they have like all the purple and stuff, and the transitions to pinks and stuff. There's parts like that are more like yellow, like near these I don't know how to call it, like wrinkles. Let's just call it wrinkles and stuff. Plus the veins, the muscles, and everything. Um, it's really cool. It's just really nice. The face, like that's how I feel actually right now. It's like, oh, there you go. I'm making the same face as the dude. Really nice, very grotesque.
This is this is someone who probably watches medical dissections and like anatomical like videos like during their lunchtime and stuff, you know,
Yeah,
like just probably like unfazed by what they're looking at. Like
yeah.
you
Their
can
own
see that
page
there's a
is
lot of
4chan.
oh yeah, definitely. Like yeah, yeah, like yeah, it's like I don't want to know where you're getting your references from, okay? Like there's some very nasty bits to the internet, but wherever you are, I want to say that you have a very strong stomach. Um Speaking of stomach, there's a lot of stomach stuff in here, by the way. There's a lot of yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know, like it's just so good. Like the texture of it, I just can't get over like the skin folds around the like around the legs, you know. Like it practically looks like something that has been simulated. You know, just how good it actually is, how the skin folds are at the proper location, how they're sort
Yeah.
of doing these nice S's around and sort of like this is the kind of stuff that you would like almost get by doing like I mean, I don't think you would be able to just simulate this in like Mars Designer and get something like this, okay? But like it reminds me of something that has been very, very simulated, and I mean that in the best possible way because it is very convincing to me how everything is nicely folding over
Hmm.
itself, you know?
Absolutely. I agree with that. The layering of the mass on itself, how it's kind of like compressing and stuff is like you say, it has this feeling that like, oh, was it simulated? Because it's really respecting the laws of mass distribution and that sort of stuff. So yeah, yeah, it was just really
Yeah.
cool. The nails also, just like how it like there's like a darker color at its base and going in like that, just a little extra like detail and attention put to it. Seriously, it's really nice. It's really 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 nice. um Honestly, I think that like the only thing that comes to mind is really just like I really wish that there was like a context to the character itself, because in terms of like the design explains everything, and we understand what happens, right? I just really wish that there was like the character was put in a certain contest, or at the very least have like a bit of like a background, because it does impact a lot to just have like a character with like nothing around it. And I say that, and I pretty much always like put like a black background behind my characters and everything. So like it might sound extremely hypocrite for me to say that, um, but like still, uh, I'm just talking from my reaction to this, right? Despite me being like an artist, or the amount of like or the way I do things, or like how long I've been an artist, I'm just telling you how it feels when I look at it, and this might be something that I could talk about.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, if we want to pixel fuck, I would also say that I wish that the shadows were a little bit blurrier, like more volumetric, like very harsh, like shadows.
That's true. That's
To me,
true. I didn't really
yeah,
notice actually, but once you point at it, yeah, I have some like decaying in the shadow. Well, not decaying, but like blurriness in the shadow could also help on the character for sure.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
it's like you
Like
said, it's like pixel fucking, because it's just like first reaction when seeing that is like wow, and I think that's the most important.
yeah, yeah. Now for me, like it's not just about lighting, as in like okay, well, lighting like lighting for lighting's sake, but it's also about what it conveys about the skin. You know, like if you have just a little bit of a blurriness to the edges of the shadows, that also conveys more subsurface subsurfaceness to the skin. You know, so it also helps to sell the skin.
Hmm.
Um,
That's true.
but yes, pixel
That's
fluffing.
true. Oh, you know what? Maybe one last little tip I could say. Often to save time, I'll make my stuff symmetrical and I'll desymmetrize the center parts of the body after, like these wrinkles here. That's a tip I would suggest is once you're done with like pretty much your character, just do another pass like in the middle and just like desymmetrize a bit like the wrinkles so that like they don't look too symmetrical from the front. The same way like the muscles are not symmetrical, right? But like the same idea, but like with the masses and everything at like every level
Yeah.
in the middle. But yeah, so Kaizi, Kaizi, that's a really great work. Congratulations, second place. That's awesome, awesome.
You got a very twisted mind, Kaisi. Congratulations.
So and now the grand finale. Drum roll. The winner of the contest, Marco Lombardi. Like I said
Yeah,
earlier during the
congratulations.
stream, yeah, congratulations. Like I said earlier, he made second place on the last contest and first place on this one. No nepotism because of the first name, nothing like that. Just pure appreciation for the work.
Raw skill. There's just something
Um,
about the name Marco that just makes you better at like 3D art. It seems.
I don't know. I don't know. The yeah, just good, just really really cool. Let's look at a few pictures for this one. Um, this is an example of like just the. I don't mean to make a comparison necessarily, but it's just going to help to illustrate my point. But like here, the background is like it's just gray, but there's like a gradient to it, so there's kind of like more of like a it drives a little bit more. So even like with a simplistic background, um, it's like there's a
Yeah.
little bit more like interest to it. But also the beauty shots in the forest and that sort of stuff. Um, it really basically like just you can imagine yourself like walking in a forest and like that thing is coming towards you, and once again it's like no, no, like I did not sign up for that. Like I don't want this in my life at all. And this character is really what's really fun again is that in so many levels, like close up, or if you look at this character from afar, extremely interesting to like in so many like levels. It's really, really, really good. A lot of like choices of design, like the way that like all the holes in the cape esque part of the body, just really cool. The choice of having kind of like an exoskeleton esque outside or like mushroom esque, whatever, like depending on like how you see
Very
it.
mushroom like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it really has like a nice feel and really original feel to it. Um, I really like the choices of color, that sort of stuff, the breakdown. Um, if you go into like the details, everything. I mean, it's just like there's so much to look at. It's really, really, really interesting. The look at like the I was gonna say fiber, no, whatever. Just like the amount of like the line flow here, and all
Yeah.
like everything is like the word escapes me. Just like many lines once in a row. Like how do you call that? Jeez. Anyways,
Well, in the context of like because there's this mushroom inspiration everywhere, it's like lamella, I believe, like in the like a mushroom, like the little like yeah, like the
yeah,
little
I think it's like
what are
under the
those? Yeah, the
mushroom.
layers. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like under the mushrooms you have all these tiny little um whatever you want to call those like layers that are sort of stacked on top of each other. Like it just reminds me a
Yeah,
lot of that. Like this is very mushroom inspired in terms of design, and it's really cool because I don't think that there's been another mushroom inspired design in the contest. So this makes it kind of stick out. But
yeah,
yeah, it's like design
exactly.
wise, detail wise, it's so original. Also reminds me a lot again of Cedric's work for some reason.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I see. Like, I could show like a few pieces that it makes me think of. I won't because the point is not to. Like I said, I don't like comparison necessarily, so I won't put it forward. But I absolutely understand what you're saying. Like I see it in
Yeah.
my head.
Twigs as ridges. Yeah, I believe that's the word we were looking for.
Yeah, Ridge actually sounds like a good one. Also, it's just like I don't know, it's just like some areas like I really like the like that shape here. Then you have the little puzzles things like just like choices like all around the character popping up like this. Um like this knee area, really nice. I really like the how it blends. Then you get back to like these shapes and stuff. Um there's like a lot of chaos. There's a lot of like what's happening, but you know what? It actually drives home correctly. Um, yeah, it's just cool. It's just really cool.
Yeah. I love, by the way, like it's a very subtle touch. I don't know if that was even the intention, but I just think it works really well. I love how much skin pulling there is in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Which, considering that the sin here is pride, for me that like I think of someone who had way too much plastic surgery, and like you can start to see their face start to like you get that sort of feeling that their face is getting sort of pulled, and like we're sort of getting here
Yeah,
the feeling of that here a little bit. So I think that that's really, really cool.
yeah. Well, I mean, the way that like I understand the face is exactly the same thing. Like this kind of like lip shape plus like the pulling right there. It's exactly the same way that I understand it. So yeah, we both of us understood it the same way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Imperial says it's hard to find rest areas for the eyes. I think that's a fair critique. There's not a lot to critique here, but I would say that that is a fair critique. Uh, Detail-wise, there could be zones where there's a little bit more, or rather less details, just to let the eyes rest a little bit. Um, but overall, this is still like fantastic work.
Hmm. Despite like that, there's still like point of like interests, and it makes it interesting to look at. I think this is kind of like a strength, and I do understand the comment. The the forehead is a rest area, sure. So yeah, I understand that comment for sure, right? I have some appreciation for things that are becoming like visually chaotic. I find that like it serves like a certain purpose as well. But yeah, I mean, sure, whatever. I'll you know what? I'll allow it.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
the one of I since we're like getting into like the reviews and that sort of stuff, like one thing that I did notice for me, which is kind of like a small detail, is like how we were talking about earlier about like contours, how nature like when it gets to it contour, it kind of like
yeah,
adapts
yeah,
to it and that sort of stuff. Like I
yeah,
think the one thing that I would have loved the most to see on this character is a bit of that idea when it comes to the contour of the cape, because the way that like the cape is finishing, it feels like there's like a certain roundness to the edge, but there's no like I would have liked to see like a treatment like to it to feel like the edge is kind of like it's finishing to be constructed, that sort of stuff, right? um I kind of like made the comment with Maria's work where like at the edge of like the tentacles there was kind of like a treatment that was kind of like announcing that the edge was there, and I find that like this would have helped with like this like section here. I would have probably liked to see it also inside of like the holes, but that would have been like a lot of work. Maybe like you would have needed to find like a procedural way to give you like that effect, right? So yeah. Um I'd say maybe something else that like I think I would have tried. I'm not 100% certain how it would have actually um look, but I think I would have kept those zones here black, just to keep like the kind of like yellow, black, and then like the legs, like this, like the separation of the character in that way, and don't not break the color necessarily. Keep the gradient like it is, and also like for example, if your sculpt has like a lot of details, I find that something to rest the eye that you can try. And I'm saying that to everyone, right? I'm not just talking to Marco. Um, it's if you actually just like hierarchize your sections with color, it can actually help to make like a detailed area take less importance. So you can, for example,
Yeah,
earlier Laura
great
was
point.
saying like, hey, if you want to have attention put to the head, we'll put more details on the head. This will actually like make people focus there more. This is one way of actually like having like focus somewhere. So we could talk about like hierarchy that way. So hierarchy of detail, um, having like a high amount of detail will have a certain effect where I have a low hierarchy in detail. So not much detail is going to also have its purpose. In terms of like shapes, the same thing exists. Like if you're going to have like many shapes in a section, try to have a shape that is really big, then one that is like smaller, and then one that is really small. It's going to create like this kind of like balance in between big and small. So yeah, basically,
Yeah,
this is another way of doing it. And also, you can do it with colors. So let's say you want to break your character into like uh, sections. Well, you can have like an entire section be of like a color, and it's going to kind of like group everything into this section, and it's going to hierarchize once again your character. I don't even know if that's a word, hierarchy, hierarchize, but that's what I'm trying to
it
say
is now.
basically here. No? I guess it is now.
Create a hierarchicalness.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect words. It rolls out of the
Hierarchical.
mouth.
Yes, it does. Certainly.
Yeah,
One
but
thing
yeah,
like
that's no. Go
no, go
ahead.
for it, go for it.
No. You go ahead.
Oh, wow, if you insist. Um, one thing I would actually like I have very, 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 very few critiques to say on this, and I have very lots of very good things to say on this. But one thing I would point out, essentially, in the interest of giving interesting information, that I think is also something that could be very, very easy to do at very minimal cost, and would actually make a lot of the shapes read even better, would be to push further the subsurfaciness of the cape. I really wish that the cape, like you can kind of see here, like in the background a little bit, like where your cursor is, you can kind of see that red, you can see through the cape there a little bit, but that does not extend through the whole cape. And I really wish that it did. Like the whole cape was, you had that feeling that it was thinner, that there was essentially more of that subsurface effect. It would do a few things. One, it would convey that the material is quite thin, because if you don't have that subsurfaceness, it makes the material look either very thick or very dense, which I think might be against the idea here of the design. But also, it would help to if you imagine that you had more of that red, essentially that was spread out throughout the cape because you had like boosted the subsurface a lot more, you would also see more of a separation between the legs of the character and the cape that is behind. Because when you look at the character from front view, it's not quite clear where the legs end and where the cape begins in terms of visual separation of things there. But if that subsurfaceness was pushed further, if you had more of that glowing red that was like spread out over the cape a lot more, you would see that nice separation between the cape and the legs, and it would just make the shapes read even better than they are reading right now.
Yeah, because it is
And to me, that
happening on the character right now. Like
it's
the
happening a
redness
little
that
bit.
you're talking
Yeah,
about is helping to cut out the shape of the
it
character,
does.
like
It
here,
does.
right? So having it
Yeah.
like around here would also help for the same purpose, but for the legs instead of
Yeah.
the torso area.
Yeah. And like it's very, very easy to tweak that, like either like tweaking the lights or tweaking the material. It's probably something that can be done in like a few minutes there, and it would just make everything pop so much more.
Yeah, absolutely. So so yeah, I mean, in terms of like being able like I really like the risk that we're taking, kind of like the differences of like treatment for like all the areas. There's like a focus on the head, there's a nice shape for the entire character itself. And it's like on one hand, sure, there is like things it makes much more things to point at and be able to master everything that's been put in that character can be hard. And the more things you put on the character, the more you you have chances of like making like faux pas, let's say, right? But I find that this does not remove from how much like this character is fun to look at, and how original like the orient like the direction of the character is. So for me, the reason why I think it landed in first place, I think it's probably, and I'm this is me projecting myself, but I think it's because probably like the other judges, that's like it struck them basically. Like there's no denying if you got first place is because
Very
like the
striking.
judges were like, yeah, were struck by the this piece, for whatever
And there
reason
were a
it
lot of
is.
judges too, right? How many
Yeah,
judges
there
were
was
there?
10 judges,
10
and
judges, yeah.
also they were not all like from one style. Like I've actually took judges of like many different styles, many different level. Also some judges were not necessarily like uh 3D artists. Like I actually like on 10 judge you don't have a lot, but like one of them is was not like an artist at the same level. So this person like coming from like a different field would also had like their say into like how like what they feel about this, right? And I find that like somebody could say like, oh well, we only want experts judges, but it's like, well, no, maybe not, because if you get expert judges, you're probably going to get like judges from the same like age also, and it doesn't actually give you like the full spectrum of like it's not representative of the world itself. Like the world is vast, is different, people think differently. So for me, it was important to have like a bit of like variety in the judges as well. Um, so yeah, so but you know what, man, you got first place. So this means that whatever you did, it worked at the very least. Like you
Whatever you
can't.
did, it was large consensus, essentially.
Yeah,
That's what it means.
exactly, exactly. So yeah, we are at the 3 hour mark, and I'm starting to lose my voice. So I think we're gonna call this review done. Um, I just want to once again reiterate, thank you for participating into the contest. It was really fun to just to see it happening. Sorry that it took so long to do it. It's hard sometimes to have a contest running, run a company, have a family, doing personal projects, all that stuff. So let's say it doesn't come to mind easily to start a new contest, but I promise I'll try to have the next one be happening sooner. The last one was a year and a half ago, so I'll try to actually like do it like in less than a year. The next one. Probably I'll run a poll again to see like what people are interested to do. Whatever I choose, I'm sure people are going to come up with great stuff because that's what people did in the last contest and in this one. We just had such a great reunion of skills. And also, I just want to say, really, people that are not at the same level of skills as other people, please participate anyway. And whatever, even if you don't finish your sculpt, just like go and try to do something, because like this is like it's a commune thing, right? At the end of the day, yeah, maybe it's a competition and there's prizes. Like we need to have like some incentive, right, to push people. But the idea is to really just like have like a melting pot of artists working on their stuff and showing their interpretation. And like you said in the like you saw in the honorable mention part, like there was a lot of entries that, yeah, maybe they came from more junior artists, or maybe they did not impress us in their in the execution, let's say. But there was some pretty great idea, and it was really fun to look at them. And
Yes.
this is why I gave so much place to the honorable mention. It's exactly because of that feeling that I have about stuff. Laura, I think did you wanted to say something?
No, I was just I fully agree with you that like execution is one thing, but also having great ideas and like conveying great ideas, or rather having them, isn't dependent on you being great at the execution side of things. You can have great um, ideas that are worth to share, that are worth to show, even if your execution is not necessarily like at the top of the game. So like it's really great to see people participate, and we've had a lot of people participate like that whose execution was not necessarily like as good as the ones that have won, but whose idea just got us to really stop and just sort of look at it and just be like, whoa, this is idea-wise, this is fantastic. Like I keep thinking back of the Centaur, like, and the Centaur with like the two bodies fighting each other there, which I know that you were also like a huge fan of, like just how good of an idea is that, like that is just amazing. And so yeah, it's like even if you're not necessarily like if you don't consider yourself to be the best, most wonderful sculptor that there is, um, it doesn't mean that your ideas are not worth sharing. And I think that that's something that is worth to keep in mind.
Yeah. It's yeah, absolutely. So we're going to take a little break of contest just to find our bearing and stuff. And next time we have a contest, just please don't hesitate, don't be shy, don't be scared, or be. It's fine. It's fine to be all of those things. But I mean, just give yourself a chance to maybe experience that, because it's really great to see it. Um, so yeah, once again, congratulations to everybody that participated. We'll try to do this next year as well. For anybody that wants to be closer to the contest or even participate, join our Discord server. The link at the bottom of the screen, either link at the bottom of a screen, is going to lead you towards like a few links, and one of them is the one to join the Discord. You can take a look at our social medias, see what Chaos Masons is doing, see what I've been working on, what Silik has been working on as well. Like me, I've been working on the Elementalists. They're coming out right now. This week I just revealed the third one. There's a fourth one coming, and then we're going to be done with another series and going on into another series. I'm working on the streams. I have a couple of things coming. I'm starting a new stream soon. So lots of stuff is happening. There's a lot of opportunity for you to learn or to come in and help us and show us some love on our social medias and whatnot. And also, if people are looking for tutorials, you can check our pages. We have a bunch of tutorials there and stuff. Laura, you can type Outgang on Google, as simple as that, and you'll find all the juicy stuff. You can have memberships for her classes, tools she's working on. So a bunch of nice stuff. Bunch of nice stuff in that direction as well. And on that, am I forgetting to say something, Laura?
No, I just want to say a big thank you to you and to Cedric as well, of course, for all the organization, all the hard work that has gone into this particular contest. I think a lot of people have appreciated it, and I think that the quality of the work that has been shown has been absolutely phenomenal. Has really blown me away, and I was expecting great work, and I got work that was even better than that. So I just want to say thank you once more, Marco, and thank you to everyone who has participated. It's been great, and I look forward to the next Chaos Masons contest.
All right, that's great. That's perfect. Well, thanks for the kind words, Laura. That was really nice. Thanks everybody for joining. Thanks everybody for participating, and we hope to see you very soon. So until Del. There you go. Perfect sign off. The guy that doesn't know how to talk. Until then. Have a good day, everyone. Have a good stuff. Be kind to yourself, and let's do art. Let's go. That's not even my catchphrase. It's like I'm inventing one. I don't have a catchphrase. I'll just say, bye bye.